because it's the holiday season. And a one and a two and a three. We are Santa's elves. No, we're not. But what we are is in Babs's bungalow. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barbara, and I am joined by a very special guest to basically make up for some really lost time because this was supposed to be up several months ago, and I, like an idiot, managed to lose the footage. So, sorry. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, hey, don't feel too bad, but don't be too hard on yourself there, Babs. Technology gets the better of us all from time to time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be blaming the less of that and more of easily distractibility. But we're two peas in a pod when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I forgot for the longest time too.
Yeah.
Then one day it was like, when I was just like, when is this video ever going to come out? And then I finally heard from you. You're like, oh right, that all that footage for everyone's stuff was lost.
Yeah. Because it was supposed to be a collaboration with
Oh,
multiple people, that where I was going to do multiple videos with my friends, and everything hit the shitter. Just goes to show that no matter how big your YouTube channel, you will always find a way to mess up when it comes to video production, and that's okay because it's not about getting knocked down; it's about picking yourself back up, and crying a little in the process. But I think that's completely understandable.
yeah, I hear you. All right, so today we were going to do what we did several months ago. I've been telling you a lot about these create your own adventure prompts that I love doing a lot of these in my free time, and you asked me to show you how some of these work and do a few builds as an example.
Yeah. So he gave me. So he actually gave me five basic prompt. Five. Think. Four prompts we're going to fully work on, and we'll give you a tease for the fifth one because that one is something super duper cool. But for
Yeah.
those at home who don't know, what is this new acronym that they must learn? CYOA.
CYOA stands for Create Your Own Adventures. If you're like me, you were often introduced to Create Your Own Adventures through young adult novels like Goosebumps. That's what got me. Because R.L. Stein, in addition to the regular books, he would have some where you, well, those were more choose your own adventures, not create your own adventures, because the adventure was already, all the pathways were written out for you. And to be like, okay, here's the situation you're in on this page. And then if you want to go into the spooky house, go to page 36. Or you know what? You decide you've had enough. You have a long day the next day. You're pretty tired. It doesn't make sense to go sneaking around in a creepy old house. You're going to go home. Go to page 29. And then you just keep making decisions from there, going down different pathways, so that way you can read. You can basically read the same book a dozen, hundred times over and get different endings, good and bad, every single time you do it. It's what made it so much fun.
Yeah, it's
And
like
then,
they
yeah,
gamified reading basically, which was brilliant.
exactly. And that's something that I grew to appreciate when I got older and started getting into video games. I appreciate that same thing. Multiple pathways, multiple choices. You could decide, hey, I want to play this game like this. Like you, for those of you like me who are big like Fallout fans, maybe some games you want to play the Wasteland hero, or in other games you want to decide, you know what, I'm going to go straight to Nuka World, join up with the gang, become the overboss, and I'm going to take over the Wasteland. I don't care about looking for my son. I want to I want to take out Preston Garvey and those Brotherhood of Steel chuckle nuts. Uh, I want to take over the Wasteland. Dang it!
Exactly, and it,
There's all sorts of ways that you could play it.
games like that offer you tremendous amounts of choice. I've always kind of been dodgy when they like do them. For some reason, I've always been dodgy when they do them in story games like Deus Ex, and Infamous. For some in particular are a couple of examples of it. But when it comes to like your more and when it comes to the more freeform games like Fallout and Skyrim, I'm a baby who stays on the side of good generally. But the fact that the options are there, is one of the reasons why I'm enticed by it, because sometimes dipping a little into evil lets you pull off some cool stuff as a good guy for a change. You know what I mean? And it allows
It does.
and it allows that flexibility. Like, besides maybe building games like like a frequent prehistoric kingdom, which is a frequent favorite of mine personally, or like um SimCity back in the day, or SimCity back in the day, like outside of that, I would think like something like choose your own adventure books would probably have the most amount of choice. And even then, when you build stuff, when you once you've built your perfect city or whatever, you know, if you ever want to start again, the only real option is nuclear. Here you've got multiple options. Maybe you just decide to move on instead of calling an alien invasion to come down and laser your entire city. Although,
Ah,
although admittedly, it was pretty fun to see a giant flying saucer blow up a city in ye old SimCity days.
well, you know what? Because you brought up Deus Ex, as somebody who grew up on the I didn't play the original games, but I'm a huge fan of the prequel ones with Adam Jensen.
Big same.
One of my favorite cyberpunk characters ever.
And
Um,
a total
I
fucking
didn't.
hottie.
I mean, you know what? If I had to pick a guy, Adam Jensen would be on the short list. Because God damn that chin.
I'm
Dude's got
I
dude did not need cybernetic augmentations to get the Giga Chad chin. But
no.
I digress. You know, he didn't ask for this. He just got it. But to be fair, when you brought up, it's like it's one Deus Ex, especially Deus Ex is one of those games where it doesn't really give you it gives you the illusion of multiple choice, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite games. I love, honestly, I could replay Mankind Divided over and over and over and over again. Um, but it's definitely one of those games that more gives you the illusion that it's multiple choice. It really isn't. It just gives you like, how do you want to be an asshole? Do you want to be a productive asshole or do you want to be a chaotic asshole?
Yeah.
You're not getting that much different stuff. Especially especially when it's like, oh hey, here's the ending in here's the ending for the first prequel game, and it's like, oh no, you could do this, you could do that, or you could just destroy the fucking station in the Arctic. There's huge ways that you can impact that, but then Mankind Divided comes around. It's like, yeah, here's what actually happened. Your choices didn't matter.
Yeah. See that this
Your
yeah, the choices don't
Yeah, so
matter.
there isn't real. The choices don't matter. When it's like, oh yeah, everyone found out anyways, and you know, but you know, a fun game, fun game. Fans of Deus Ex, please do not tear my head off. I love that game. I replayed it dozens and dozens of times. I got hundreds of hours on Deus Ex. Again, especially Mankind Divided being my favorites. Aside from it, just looks so much smoother. The Augs in that one are without a doubt my favorite. Though Human Revolution definitely had had more of my favorite weapons in it. You had a fucking laser weapon and a plasma weapon in that one, but Mankind Divided, it's all just suddenly gone.
Yeah.
What the fuck's?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
Anyways, we've been going on forever.
yeah, yeah. Well,
All right,
as much as
so
I'd love to chat Deus Ex, that's maybe a video discussion topic thing for
maybe
another time.
yeah, yeah. You know what? All right. Call it in the chat if you guys want us to do a longer video talking about Deus Ex. We can get back to that in the future. But for now, I wanted to share with you guys and with Barb some of the ones that I like to do. Now, create your own adventures are a lot. They do involve a lot more legwork than a choose your own adventure. Because in that one, like I mentioned, that one the adventure's already there. You just have to kind of pick how you want things to go. This stuff you have all the choices from the beginning. Like here's a general setup, or even just here's some choices. Some of y'all might be more familiar with these, where it's like, hey, here's 10 options of maybe random abilities or superpowers or stuff, and you have to choose maybe 3 or 4 of them. Because you can't choose all. You have to get very specific in the choices that you make.
Yeah.
Someone's like those are very simple create your own adventures. You might not consider them a create your own adventure, but personally, I believe they still fall into that category. They meet the requirements of you make choices given the limited amount of resources that you have to choose amongst those resources, and then you can go from there to build whatever you want. So we got two examples of that today, which are mostly just taken from a list and says you can only choose this amount. The other two have more to them, and they are based on a couple of popular franchises. Though to be fair, these were a little. One of these was a little more relevant several months ago when this video was originally supposed to come out. Um, I had recently watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I thought, oh, I got a Ghostbusters Create Your Own Adventure here. This would be great while I'm feeling the hype. So,
so
um,
so what's this bitch
the
going
the
to
hype
review it?
the hype is, and the other one was also pretty hyped because I had finished finally watching the Fallout TV show. Impeccable, Bethesda, you did it again. Um, so fucking perfect. No notes. Can't wait for season 2. And now both of those have already kind of come and passed the wave. We're trying to get it on the hype, and now we're kind of just at the bottom when it's already just kind of be like now everybody's like enjoying it, but casually enjoying it, not we're ranting enjoying about it. So hopefully, you know what? If after this video, after you watch this video, go watch both of those back. Go watch Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then immediately after binge watch the Fallout TV show, so you can really get into that, or do it before. Pause this video, pause this video, watch those properties, then come back to this.
I am dying.
Depends on what order you want to get hyped up in.
I'm dying. A
Uh,
Ghostbusters
it,
Fallout double feature.
a Ghostbusters Fallout double feature for sure. I know that probably wasn't in some of your guys' plans for today, but as we all know, the algorithm works in mysterious ways. So if this shows up in your queue, you know what? It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
So it's like it was meant to be.
Dun, dun, dun.
So what? Dun dun dun. So the last two are definitely going to be a bit more comprehensive. There's actual more uh, real thought that needs to go into these because there's an actual adventure to be had here,
Yes.
so to speak. But we're going to start off. We're going to start off a lot simpler. We're going to start off with one of my personal favorites. I do this every so often whenever I'm feeling kind of bored. This one is called Comfy Powers. I'm not. Let's see. I don't recall who the author for this one is, but Barb, you will be having that on the screen, I believe.
Yeah, I will be able to. I will be able to pull up the name of the person who created these Create Your Own Adventures because it turns out most, if not all of them, are actually made by the same dude on Reddit. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you got to double check because sometimes it might look like it was posted by somebody, but that doesn't mean that they're the author.
Thank God.
And
thank God for Thank God for my history. And thank God.
Yeah.
And thank God for this fun hot tip for the day. Control Shift T on any browser will do a tab recall, allowing you to pull up any tabs you previously deleted. So, little life hack for you.
Yep. So we'll try to put them. So in the future, we're going to try to get a lot better about researching the authors for these because I believe in credit where credit is due.
Vaguely, same here.
We're going to try to do a lot better about that in the future. So thankfully, some of these will actually have the author names on them, so it's a lot easier. But if you guys know who the authors for these are, check them out. Do these on your own. It's always a lot of fun. So first one up is Comfy Powers. It's just one of the simple choose X amounts, and let's read the little intro here.
Yep.
All right. Hey man, how's it going? You're probably wondering who I am. I am a Comfomancer, a wizard of comfiness. I've seen your hard life and decided, this dude could really benefit from an easier life. It is because of this that I've decided to grant you 5 boons of your choice.
There we go.
There we go. That's all the setup you need. Simple as that. Just the fun little, hey, a wizard thought that your life clearly sucked, and decided this sucked enough that this powerful deity's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give this guy a break. That's how a lot of these work, and you know what? Sometimes I think that's all you need.
Divine intervention,
You don't need
motherfucker.
you don't need a whole lot of justification for why.
And
All right, so I'll give you a sec to get that on the screen.
yep, it is all up and ready for you to read.
All right, so we're gonna go from top to bottom, left to right on these videos, just to make it easier on Barb as the editor.
Yep. So that just means for those who are illiterate, because I'm a big fan of accessibility, and just in case this gets to someone who is genuinely illiterate, follow the cursor, the thing that's moving, down as I aim. I'll be aiming next to the ones that we're covering. So when Jackson says aura of automation, let's say that's this one here.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get to tasty, the cursor will be down there, and so on. This is for those that have difficulties reading either the cards or just difficulties reading in general.
Or maybe if you're like me and you tend to get easily distracted, maybe you don't follow along as easily. It happens. There's billions and billions of us in this planet nowadays. The ADHD is a lot more widespread than it used to be. So,
I mean, that's just it, right? Like the ADHD, with such short attention spans too. If you're coming here from, like, let's say TikTok or any more short form media to something more long form, this might help, because you're like, what the fuck are these people on? Oh, they're on this.
Yeah, only instead of talking about useful stuff like stock reports and true crime novels, we're making shit up.
But isn't that fun though?
Infinitely more, yes, absolutely. So let's dive into it.
Hell yes. So let's start with that first one, aura of automation.
All right, so for the first choice of comfy powers, aura of automation, it means tired of the mundane work needed to keep your house in check. Well, with this boon, these tasks will be no more. Within a 15-foot radius, everything will clean, organize, and otherwise take care of themselves over time. Sadly, this doesn't work for everything. For some reason, the magic seems to falter at higher paying jobs. Though with it, you could hold a minimum wage job with incredible ease. So you could do this to your house, or if you're like me and you work janitorial jobs, this should probably allow you to get a job at like a hospital or a corporate office and just completely slum it. Just walk around, do your path of where you got to go, and this should be able to take care of all the stuff you need to. So you can work, but you don't have to work.
I mean, instead of like mopping the floors, you're doing a fucking tap dance routine and the floor cleans itself.
Exactly. Or if you're like me and your personal space looks like it's gotten far too personal, this will ensure that you've got at least some level of hygiene without needing to work for it.
Yeah, I get you. Speaking.
Next up. Oh, what's up?
I was just gonna say, that's aura of automation, and the next one, I mean,
Tasty.
Foodies will love this one.
Oh, absolutely. If you guys love to eat, especially like me, you crave your comfort food all the time, this next one is absolutely for you. That'll be tasty. Food is good. That much is a given. But could it be better? With this boon, it can be. With just a little concentration, you can fire a beam from your fingers that will slowly improve the food's taste and healthiness of any food that you shoot at. A few seconds and they double in taste and lose half of their fat. A few minutes and they're as good as the highest class of food imaginable. Within 10 minutes, the food reaches maximum taste and is so healthy it actually extends your life. Since it is fired as a continuous beam, you could use it to improve others' meals and even do so from a distance if you wish. Personally, I think that if you use this on a plate of food for like an hour, you probably get the effect that Kirito and Asuna do in SAO Abridged, where it's, oh my god, it's beautiful, and they can never eat any normal food again after that. They fried the parts of their brains that can enjoy normal food, and that was it.
Or
Uh,
like that one or like that one anime that was making the rounds a few years ago, where it was like it was like a Iron Chef type thing where you had like judges and they would like cook for people, but these people were creaming their jeans at some of these food. At some of this
oh,
food. You know what
yeah,
I'm
you're
talking
talking. Was
about.
it? Yes, I do. Was it Shokugeki no Soma? I believe.
He knew
And
what.
again, I don't watch a whole lot of anime, but I am fully aware of that. Is thank you, Grimjack, for actually turning me on to that one. That was it's an incredibly fun anime. If you love food and you love cooking shows, fucking oh my goodness, that's the most over the top cooking I've ever seen. It is honestly glorious. It made me start to be like it made me kind of do some of that stuff in my head when I eat. Whenever I'm eating for a while, I try to have that kind of inner monologue just so that I could be enjoying it on the same level from time to time. Because I want to enjoy food the same way these people are enjoying the food. I want everything to be an orgasmic, multi-dimensional experience.
Yeah, I want epiphany burgers. Are you fucking kidding me? I want like enlightenment steaks. Come on.
Oh, good lord! If imagine reaching nirvana by eating a cow. Oh my god! Everybody in India will be pissed.
That's what tasty does for you.
That's what tasty does. And again, not. I apologize if I sound offensive to anybody. I'm. I just love poking fun at everybody.
Trust me, as a
Um,
trans woman, I've been on the butt end of plenty of jokes, and it's all good. He never means any harm.
no, I just think humor is good when you can kind of take it a little on the chin. If anybody wants to make fun of me, here's a few free bullets. 6'3", overweight, very very strong German heritage with questionable origins. So let the Nazi jokes commence. If anybody feels like blowing out some steam, it ain't nothing I ever heard before. We're all on the same team here, and we're all just trying to have a little bit of fun.
Exactly.
Uh,
Like if you dish it to us, we dish it to you is kind of the
yeah.
philosophy I live with, cuz like I love people, but if somebody slings a little mud, you got to sling a little back. Don't take that on the chin.
Uh,
You're better than that.
I ain't trying to actually sling mud here because yeah,
Yeah.
mud fights are dirty.
Yeah, mud
But
fights are dirty. Speaking of
but,
dirty.
but speaking of getting dirty, who needs the gym? Option number 3. A strong body requires much to keep up, doesn't it? Lifting, running, stretching, with the eating right, and
Yep.
even not sitting down too much. Oi, Zoidberg.
uh,
Just to clarify, I've watched so much Futurama. That's my Zoidberg.
uh,
Oi,
you love ya
why
Yiddish.
not Zoidberg? Why not Zoidberg?
Literally.
Certainly, yeah, certainly that's not comfy at all. With this, you no longer gain any negative effects from unhealthy behavior. Eating nothing but pizza and sitting on your couch for the month, and you would not gain a single pound or lose any bone density. Of course, this could help you keep any gains that you do get if you decide to exercise, uh,
Sweet.
which is great news for my fat ass because I spend most of my time at my desktop here. So I would absolutely love to be able to say, I'll go for a walk, come back. Well, I only lost like a few calories, but at least I'm not gaining them back. I'll progressively lose this chubby little belly of mine with minimal effort.
Yeah. And I mean, I call this the dietitian's worst nightmare, personally.
Oh yeah, what's your diet? I do what I want. Anything else? No, I do what I want, and the pounds gradually work themselves off. That's what I do. You might call it lovely transition here. You might just say it's plain old luck.
Da da da.
Yeah, so plain old luck. While it's not as impressive as self cleaning floors or never needing to exercise, things are just comfier when they go your way, isn't it? I mean, with this, your toes, drum roll please, da 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 da, will not find themselves stubbed. If you
Hey.
got big tootsies like me, that is a godsend.
Yep.
You're also far more likely to find some decent money when walking down the sidewalk, and there never seems to be any traffic for you. Now, while useful, this power isn't the most, well, powerful. Like, you can't use it to guarantee winning $1 million lottery, though lesser prizes are more guaranteed.
Well, there you go.
So, congratulations. I found a $20 bill and I can just afford to eat lunch today.
Literally. And I mean, as somebody who has worked with lottery tickets before, let me tell you, like, read the back of them sometime and actually look at the odds that they have. It's like, the odds of actually winning the jackpot off a scratch ticket is literally in the millions, right?
Yeah, like tens of millions, I think, was the actual odds. Like, it's not just, oh, it's like 1 in 1 million or 5 or 7 million. It's like 1 in 10 to 15 million if you win like the jackpot with all modifiers to get what's on the advertisements.
30
Because like you're not just because most of the time you're not playing to win exactly what's on there. You're playing to win like a portion of that.
Oh yeah.
If you want to win what's on the advertisements, oh, there's 100, 500, or if you were me in Florida, over $1 billion in lottery. If you want to win that jackpot, you have to get all the numbers and the multipliers right.
Yep.
Otherwise you just get like a part of it.
Exactly. And even
Um,
and that's like he's talking about Powerball too, like the Powerball
yeah.
lottery. I'm just talking like the lottery tickets you buy at the convenience stores and gas stations and stuff.
Mhm.
Tickets are rated by decimal points for your odds of winning the cheapest prize. Like if you look at actual lottery ticket advertising, lottery ticket A would have the odds of 1 in 3.5 because those are your general odds of winning something. Versus another ticket that might be cheaper but has odds of 1 in 2.5, let's say. Uh, but here's the real kicker, right? This is the real cheeky bit. In America, you get taxed for your lottery winnings. In Canada, you don't. You get to keep 100% of the money that you win because it's not taxable income. Lottery wins in the
Dang.
US are.
Yeah, it makes me glad. We got something a little similar to that over here in Texas. You don't pay state tax, so like some of the so on the so you don't pay, was it state tax? It's there are some taxes that I wouldn't actually have to pay for those lotteries. So I'd only have to pay like I don't have to pay out like a little bit more. I only have to pay out like a fraction of what most other states would have to pay out if you win the lottery. So it's pretty nice.
Perks of being Texas, right?
There's not many.
take, take it where you can. Excuse me.
Yeah, well, I'm the Angry Texan for a reason. All right, so next up, we have chauffeur. Driving is fine and all, but it really takes away from time that could be spent sipping hot chocolate and watching a movie. My Friday afternoons in a nutshell. Take this, and I'll let you have one of my chauffeurs. The wizard is talking to you again at this point, apparently.
Uh-huh.
Whenever you need to go somewhere, they will be outside your house or your apartment, etc., wherever you live. Could be a cardboard box. Um, let's see. They'll be waiting for you with with the vehicle door open. They'll drive you to any location you desire, be it down the street or across the country, and they'll always find the fastest, most efficient path. Perfect for when you need to catch up on your movie collection.
Yes, indeed. I mean, having a personal magical chauffeur would be pretty sweet, but there's a catch. Waiting for you with your vehicle door open. Now, I know he's a wizard and not a fae, so I'm sure this is fine, but I would just ask for clarification on that. So like by my vehicle, you mean the chauffeur I hired's vehicle that is provided for him, or do I have to own a vehicle to make this work in the first place?
Uh, Actually, I commend your apprehension here because yeah, you do need to be clear because a thing that tends to happen a lot with a lot of different creative adventures, especially if they're simple ones like this, there's bound to be grammatical errors or not enough information to be like, well, wait, what if this instead of this? Like you're trying to glean, like how exactly does this work if it's not entirely clear? Personally, I use the rule of use your own interpretation. If they don't clarify something, you want to go like as writ, and if it's not clear enough to you, then you can use your own interpretation, flub it a little bit, because you know what, it's your damn adventure. And you're the one choosing it. You clear that up however best works for you. Just within reason. Otherwise, you're going to lose all the sense of fun.
Exactly, right? Like,
Uh, and yes, and in regards to your question here, they say that the chauffeur belongs to the wizard, but only the chauffeur. So the catch here, I guess, is that they will drive you in your vehicle,
yep.
but the chauffeur is theirs. So yeah, based on what it says here, I guess if you don't have a vehicle, then I don't know how this works.
Maybe.
Um,
Oh God, he literally just picks you up bridal style and says, "I will run you there." I just fucking Forrest Gumps you across the U.S.
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't strike me as that kind of chauffeur.
I mean,
I think this may be a case of if you don't have a vehicle, then technically you're SOL with this particular choice.
I got you.
Um, so yeah, a bit of a conundrum here, especially for those of y'all who may not have a vehicle. So just get your hands on whatever you can consider a vehicle, and this chauffeur will use that to drive you.
And play lots of D&D so that you can pick out legal shenanigans from both lawyers and fae alike.
Yeah, get used to Fey Talk. It'll help you with create your own adventures when things get a little when uh, information sounds a little screwy and vague. Anywho, next up is the 15% discount. So nothing fancy with this ability. You take it, and anything that you want to buy can be purchased at a 15% discount. This applies to anything, from a new car to a can of beer, from purchases made online or in person, and from the largest corporation to the smallest lemonade stand. Don't worry, no one will ever ask you to pay full price or even question why they're giving you a discount. So spend away.
This is a fucking.
You know what? You can buy the White House 15% off.
You know what this is?
You know what? I would love to go. I would just love to go over to the UK and say, I will buy Buckingham Palace 15% off, please. Just to see, just to see what the look on the Brits' faces.
Yeah, literally. I'm just laughing too because like this is like one of those perks you would get in a game, like in one of those flash games. Like, did you ever play Learn to Fly?
Nah, it doesn't quite ring a bell for me.
You're a penguin that's trying to fly with rockets and gliders and shit, and like you would get like
Definitely didn't play that.
but like in a game like that, you would do a run, you would go upgrade, and you'd do it again, right? Like that kind of style of game where they have like perks, like a flat out discount on the stores. This is that for real life. Like you literally just have an active permanent 15% discount perk on your person. Which also leads me to two other considerations.
Yeah. Or also, for those of you who play Skyrim, if you're leveling up your speech, you get some of those perks that make it so that way it's easier for you to get discounts at traders.
Exactly. Except in this case, it's 100% guaranteed to be 15%, which is not bad. Speaking of, though, the other thing that makes me giggle is that if you have somebody who is uber rich that you can get in contact with, and you tell them that they can have anything they want plus 15% off as long as you were the one making the buy.
You basically get somebody to financially back all of your decisions. Like, hey, I'll take that 15, like the 15. You know what? I would take that 15%. Like here, like you give what the full price for this. They're going to negate 15% off of the sale. I'll just take that as part of my sales pitch. You can get whatever you want.
Exactly. And like here's where it gets fun, right? Like if let's say you do that, right? You could even pay your this buyer for you like 5% of the cut that you get like 5% of what's left over from that 15%. Do you know what I mean? And then you keep that extra 10%, and because you're uber rich, that gets invested upon. So you basically have infinite money, as if you didn't already.
I mean, I'm not really. Well, I mean, you wouldn't really. Besides, I'm not trying to do anything that benefits the rich. I want only stuff to benefit me. Fuck the rich.
That's fair. That's fair.
Not a comment about any sort of recent goings ons about CEO hunting season that's happening at the time that this is being recorded. No comments. Nothing to say about that. Nothing to say. It's still a little too current to do a whole lot of joking. I'm not popular enough where I can get away with that and avoid cancel culture. So I'm just gonna leave that be and just clarify. Not a comment on that.
It's your time.
Just more of an age old grudge that everyone's always had against the rich. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
So speaking of,
let's move back.
Speaking of no fucks given, next column over. We'll get this ball rolling again.
Yep.
All right. So second column, we have no fucks given. Take this, and you will always never feel too uncomfortable. Oh, excuse me. Take this, and you will always never feel too uncomfortable in undesirable conditions. Stiff chairs, cold temperatures, being stuck in a suit outdoors in the middle of summer. None of it bothers you. Two things I want you to keep in mind, though. First, this doesn't make you comfortable per se. It just makes you less uncomfortable. You still have to do normally comfortable things to be comfy. Secondly, this boon might accidentally cause you to not realize that your body is going through hell. Since you only feel less uncomfortable.
Basically,
so you might not be aware that you're on fire. You might just feel like, oh, I'm a little hot under the collar. No, your jacket's been lit on fire, and you're about to die.
Yeah, or like your sense of pain is deadened, so you accidentally like permanently scald your hand on the stove.
Yeah, definitely one of those where it's like, this is handy, but it comes at a cost of you might grievously injure yourself in one way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So moving on, the next option is constantly cozy. This one actually requires you to choose no fucks given, and that happens in a lot of creative adventures. Sometimes if you want to get an ability as basically like an upgraded version of another one that's on the list, it'll say it requires you to choose that before you choose this one. Barb, could we pause this audio for a sec?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
About an hour after I was supposed to be on, we were just kind of getting set up. You got yourself some old little thing? Damn. Oh well. Want some nuggets? I mean, I won't say no to some nugs. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go eat. Okay. I just came to say hi.
Hi, Denicia.
Right. Hi, baby.
Hi, babes. How are you, darling?
I am doing pretty good. 5 days till Christmas. I'm sorry, that was too easy.
It's good.
I heard.
But yeah, though she does remind me like, oh right, it's like 1:30. It's like 1:36. And I've still got to call my mom like right after this.
Oh, so should we step on the gas then?
Yeah.
Then yeah.
So let's keep this going.
Then yes, let's.
Let's try to keep this going. All right, hold on.
So next
Oh.
up is constantly cozy, which requires no fucks given.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, so back into it. 3, 2, 1. All right. So our next option is comfortably, yeah, constantly cozy, which requires the choice of no fucks given.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in these create your own adventures. An option, in order to get a certain option, you have to choose another one, since that option is usually like an upgraded version, or it's like some sort of upgraded version of a previous option. And it'll say, get this in order to get this. So some options will be locked to you if you don't take certain options. It's the only one on this particular list, so it's no biggie. So constantly cozy. This is this is what you show. This is what you choose if you want constant comfort 24/7. Take this, and normally mundane or outright uncomfortable things become far more cozy. Wooden stools feel like plush recliners. A hardwood floor feels like a regular old bed, and a heat wave will feel at least pleasantly warm. Of course, the more comfortable the original conditions, the cozier that you will feel. Like sleeping in an actual bed will feel far more blissful than a bed of spikes, and with far less injury. Because once again, just like the last one, it doesn't stop you from like being hurt or something like this. It just makes it it just makes things less uncomfortable. Or in this case, with this upgrade, it makes things more comfortable. But you could absolutely still get a little too. You could risk injury with these.
So
This next one.
don't.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So don't stick your head in the microwave.
Don't stick your head in the microwave. Just because it won't feel as bad doesn't mean it's not bad. It is equally bad as it was before. Though, if people are legitimately deciding to stick their head in a microwave, good riddance to you. We did not need you anyways.
Yeah. Anyhow, neat.
Yes, neat blessing. For the longest time, I had no idea what that was, and now that I do, I wish I didn't know what it was. This one's a pretty easy choice, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem magical at first, but its magic will soon show itself. With this, you will gain the space-time equivalent of $500 a day, right into your hands. This means you don't have to do any of that pesky work. And if you decide to, you'll still be making more money than the average worker. 500 a day, that's 7 days a week. That doesn't limit you to just getting paid like during the work week. It's every single day, $500 in your hands. It doesn't say that it's got any sort of legal recourse, like it's taxable or it's reported or it's tax free or nothing. It's not like the 15% discount where people will be like, oh, we won't question why we're doing this. I'm probably thinking the neat blessing. People might question if you like where you're getting $500 a day. So definitely definitely get good at money laundering if you want to add this to your cash flow without the IRS wondering how you just somehow get this every day.
Yeah.
But that's what $500 a day, 7 days a week. So that's over the course of 7 days. That's what $3,500, which is basically what I make in a month from my retirement checks. So damn, that's what 35 a week on average. It's what 4 weeks in 4 weeks out of a month.
Yep. So that would be $14,000 a month, and I did the math for it over an average year, which is 365 days, and that comes out to $182,500 a year. You're making six figures annually.
So yeah, what $500 a day, 365 days a year. You're making almost 200 grand a year.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's just for free. If you're like me and you're like, well, that sounds kick ass, but I don't want to just not do nothing. You know, I get bored easily. I got to do stuff. I want to work a job or something. Well, congratulations. Work a job on top of that and supplement your already infinite income. Uh, Next up, slept like a baby. Now, sleep is comfy. Take this boon and you can sleep for as long as you want, man. Even better, you'll never wake up tired. every morning will be refreshing if you wish it. Lastly, your dreams will be enjoyable, wondrous, and will end only a few minutes before you wake up or are woken up. So that way you're not like dreams get cut off halfway through. Don't get too lost in your dreams though, or you may forget to eat and drink and do any other necessary bodily function. This one is super tempting to me. I'm a lifelong insomniac, and I always tend to wake up tired or sore or exhausted. Uh, like sleep isn't, and I'm not even in my 30s yet, though I'm fast approaching. And I have long since been plagued by the sleep just doesn't do it for me anymore. I just don't recuperate like how I used to when I was 10.
And
So the option where I can sleep whenever I want for as long as I want, and it's always refreshing, and I'll never have my dreams be interrupted. It's like that's like that. If for the list of things that are better than sex, that's one of them. I am I am speaking as a married man, by the way. Uh,
Can't
as a
confirm.
married man who quite as a married man who quite thoroughly enjoys sex, this would, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably choose this.
I mean, and like, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that gets me excited. You'll never wake up tired. Sleep as long
Not
as
that
you
kind of.
want.
I was gonna say not that kind of channel, Parv. Not that we're not spicy. We're not spicy.
No, we are not. But for realsies, though. Well, I mean, at Babs' Bungalow, we could talk about whatever we damn well please. I don't really care about the censors. But more to the point of what I was trying to get at. You'll never wake up tired, and you can sleep for as long as you want. You know what that means for me? That means I'm just going to sleep for an hour a day and be just fine.
Exactly. So you could absolutely speed run sleep if you wanted to.
Which is the best part about it, right? Like, as long as I have, like, a means to reliably wake up, I'll be like, do I have nothing else to do for the next, 2 hours? Okay, cool, I'm gonna take a power nap. Here we go.
That being said, this may be a bit of a monkey's paw. This might be the paranoia talking, but I'd rather be paranoid and alive than not.
Yeah.
This might be one of those things where technically it doesn't negate your need for a normal amount of sleep. You can feel much like how you can feel comfortable in the other options, but it actually doesn't make you immune to those conditions. You just don't feel it. This might be one of those, oh yeah, you could wake up refreshed and feeling great after, I'm going to sleep for like an hour and then just like speed run and just do that. But your body would still kind of suffer from lack of sleep. You just wouldn't feel it.
Now, on the one
It's in the other option. It's in the other options. I just feel like because it's already kind of existing in one of the other stuff, that might be a thing here. Just to be careful.
Yeah, on the one hand, I totally get it because a precedent I already pointed that out as a potential precedent already. So I get that.
Exactly.
And that did skeeve me out that you could potentially get so lost in a dream you die. Like, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, here's the thing about that. This is a create your own adventure. I choose to reject that reality and substitute my own, in the immortal words of legendary mythbuster Adam Savage.
I thought it was Kirito who said that. Yeah, that's a 2-tier joke. Thank you very much for people who are fans of the Abridged series. By the way, recent episode, amazing. I love it. Good for Reckon.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, but that sounds exciting.
Watch the show, Barb. Just watch it. They may only put out one episode a year, but it's worth it.
What's the name of the show, even?
SAO Abridged.
Oh, Sword Art Online Abridged.
Something Witty Entertainment.
I did not.
Yes.
Okay, you alluded to that earlier, and I thought it was like, okay, yeah, I should totally. I mean, I saw Dragon Ball Abridged. I didn't see Sword Art Online, but I probably should.
You absolutely need to. It's one of those. It's one of those uncommon instances where the abridged version is infinitely better than the actual official version. I watched the original SAO abridged for the whole Sword Art Online arc, going into the Alfheim online arc. Um, it was it left a lot lacking. It left a lot of ideas just kind of on the floor. I think it got more. It got more popular once they started getting into like Gun Gale Online. I think
Yeah.
so. It's like it's still ongoing. It's a whole thing, and it got way more popular. But the original start off was shaky as hell. This fixes literally everything. So watch it when you can. Watch it when you can, Barb.
Uh, hashtag shameless plug.
I will. You know what? It is not shameless. I am not getting paid for any of these plugs. I just promote stuff I like. And you know what? A good abridged series is a damn good abridged series, and I will never not recommend stuff to people like that.
Which is always cool that you're always just like, yo, I think this is cool. You should check it out. So,
Exactly.
uh,
And I'm not getting paid, so you know I actually mean it.
exactly. And if nothing else, it kind of provides us nice segues. Like, please leave me alone.
Yes. Next option. So, last two options. Almost done with this one. Please leave me alone. You know what's not comfy? Being constantly annoyed by other people when you don't want to be. Choose this, and people will no longer bother you if you don't want them to. In fact, people will go out of their way to avoid you if you wish. Your boss will assign that large assignment to another person, and people who are having an annoying conversation will go to a different room. You can turn it off at will and have it only selectively affect people if you wish. This is like my idea. This is like one of my ideal superpowers if we're going like something beyond the typical of super strength or speed, durability. Like if you want like, oh, list like a fun power, like a real ability you would want. That one, I want so many people to leave me alone all the time. I don't like answering the phone.
I completely
Um,
understand.
and honestly, if people will go out of their way to avoid you, imagine how that could work if I wanted just the IRS to avoid me.
Literally.
The IRS, all the government entities that would need to pay my bills to, they go out of their way to avoid me and just not talk to me, not contact me. I'll just be like, I'll just be here, very obviously not paying my mortgage every month, not paying for my insurance, not paying for any of my utilities. I'll go to the store and I'll just walk out with like five shopping carts full of everything, not pay for it, and they're just looking the other way.
I mean, you could totally do that and like just do it for everybody, but what sold this power for me is the last sentence. You could turn it off at will and have it only affect people if you wish. So I don't
You could have it. It's selective. You could have it. It's selective, meaning it's only working on some people, but not other people that you don't want it to work on. So
and you
you
can
could
turn it off
have
at
those.
will.
And yeah, you could turn it off at will, or you could be like, hey, I want all these entities to leave me alone, but I want my best friends to always be talking to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So honestly, pick this one. Rob the world. Everybody, if you choose this, everybody, if you do this one, pick this one. Rob the world. Take it for all it's worth. Take it all.
Do what you wish. Speaking of wish, um, anybody
Last one.
the last one. It's not quite bigger on the inside, but it's pretty good all the same.
Yep, the subspace house. While I offer many gifts, none are as huge as this one. Take this, and I shall grant you access to a medium sized house between the universes. Here, time passes at 1/10 the usual rate, and so does your aging. While here, you can make use of the many facilities provided, including a 5-star kitchen, a gym with modern equipment, a fine bedroom and shower, and a library, though with no books. In fact, the entire house seems fairly empty. Perhaps you could fix that.
So,
I am. Oh, actually, you go ahead, Barb.
so this is a weirdly specific thing. But I've ever since I was a kid, I had this kooky idea for like a story or what have you, where basically everybody in the world dies. So it starts off pretty macabre, but or it becomes like the post-apocalypse outside, but like as the post-apocalypse is happening, Fallout style and all of that, The house I live in is not only completely intact, but but while I can't get like while the internet outside is actually dead and I don't have access to an actual internet per se, I would have access to like fully functioning electricity, heat, and all that. Basically, like my house is like a little bubble of immortality from the apocalypse, and this is almost exactly that.
Actually, you just described a real location in Fallout 4.
What?
Yeah, the Cabot House. That's what their whole thing is.
Oh,
Their house. Yeah, it's the Cabot quest line where you can find a guy who needs you to do some work. It's based on an actual location in real life in Boston, called Cabot House, and it says that Jack Cabot and his family, consisting of his mom, his sister, and their ghoul his kind of ghoul right hand man. What was it? Deegan? Not Deegan. He's a fucking railroad guy, but he's got a similar name. Name fucking escapes me. Um, Basically, he hires you to do some work for him because he and his family are all immortal via this serum he reverse engineered from his father's blood, and his father he put on an alien artifact, and it drastically altered his DNA, so that way he's unaging. He's got telekinesis. He's immune to radiation. Super strong. Super tough. But also drove him crazy. So he's kept in the isolated containment unit in the sub basement of an insane asylum run by Jack Cabot. And Jack is trying to cure him, but he's been trying to do it for like 400 years.
because follow.
And he's really been getting. Oh yeah, he's like I've been trying to do it for 400 years. I've been getting nowhere, and while I'm doing this, I also distill blood samples from my dad to create a serum that keeps my whole family alive. So that way, I can take care of them because Jack's just trying to help. But yeah, no, their home works exactly like that. They've got power. The house is completely intact. They've got power when other people don't. Everything is 100% exactly the way it was centuries ago.
In short,
So
a snapshot of the past.
yes, yeah. And if you get on their good side, you can go in and kind of enjoy it. It's real nice. They even got They've got all their old school reserves and stuff.
Indeed. Which, but this is in an extra dimension where time and aging passes by at 1/10 the usual rate, and you get free decoration. So it's basically a dollhouse in subspace, and I'm here for that.
Well, you get all these free rooms specifically, but it's not decorated, and there's nothing actually in there. You have to stock it yourself.
Which is
I love creating your own like subspace houses and get your own little pocket dimensions. I love those things. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
But the one that requires you to be like, well, maybe you got to put in the work for it. That doesn't sound comfortable. Excuse me, Comfomancer, working against type here. Thank you.
Well, that being said, we get 5 choices, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't choose Subspace House if only because you've got other creative adventures like Goddess of the Hearth Vault version 3, I think it is now, where it's way better. Just do that. Just go do that one. We can cover it in a future video to show what I mean, but it is way better than this.
Yeah.
Than the Subspace House. All right.
So what would be your top then?
All right. Well, my top choices. Had to give it a bit of thought, but there's Aura of Automation, so that way everything's already automatically working. Who needs the gym? Because I lead a very unhealthy lifestyle. While it can't cure my male toxicity that I'm apparently born with, as all men are, I can definitely make sure that other parts of my toxic lifestyle won't kill me sooner. Next is Neat Blessing, because who would turn down $500 a day? Like, who would turn down almost 200 grand a year just based off of that alone?
This is universal basic income.
Yeah. Then just plain old luck to improve my overall luck and everything. And Tasty, because you that one. I think all of that really. I got these because I think these five would really synergize. Because between Aura of Automation, I could just maintain a pretty simple job. I'll just I'll just be like, hey, I'll show up at a job, get paid for that, then supplement that income with Neat Blessing and just plain old luck because I'll be finding money everywhere. And of course, I'll be playing like a lot of low stakes games of chance that I should be a lot more likely to win. I'll play the lotteries, but I'll play like the small stuff so I get like extra prize money or things like that. So I'll just be earning like that all the time. So no real need to worry about income. And combine that with who needs the gym and tasty. I mean, who needs the gym? I don't have to worry about counting calories or worrying about my caloric intake or my cholesterol or any of that stuff. No need to worry about diabetes, especially since I can just point at my food, even if it's just a pile of garbage, and eat that. And it's so healthy that it becomes so healthy it extends my life. I mean, it doesn't even say that there's a limit to how much it could extend your life. What if I just keep doing that, and by eating this food, I don't need to worry about about not aging, about only aging at 1/10 the speed with the subspace house. I could just not age at all. My life just keeps getting longer and longer because of all the meals, these super delicious and healthy meals I'm eating.
Could you imagine if
So
could you imagine though if it turns out that there was an upper limit of deliciousness before it straight up kills you, and you're the one to
it,
find it?
it doesn't. Here's the thing. Again, if rules in these things gotta be specific. If they don't clarify, it's up to you to clarify.
That is fair.
Since there's no upper limit listed here, I choose to think that there probably isn't one. So there could probably be even greater effects if you have the continuous beam firing for even longer.
You fi- you.
You could potentially de-age yourself, I'd imagine, or cure different conditions. Like, hey, what's about a bowl of bolognese that's so good it cures cancer?
Or you're barbecuing prime rib and you're just frying it with the beam for like the better part of an hour or whatever. Like you get it real good, fall off the bone, delightful, and then you eat it, and then you just grow wings, cause that's a benefit.
Well,
Cause that's a benefit. You could fly. Or are we getting too? Or are we running too far from the plot?
that one feels a little bit because it's all about health and how things can get so healthy that they keep having bodily improvements.
Oh, I see.
I'm not entirely sure that growing wings works with that.
Oh, what would work though is that if you lost your eyesight due to, say, cataracts or something, your food could be so tasty that it literally gives you your eyes back, right? Because that's a form of healing.
Exactly. That's what I was getting on before. Like, what if maybe you do that being for 20 minutes, and now your food is so tasty that you can cure ailments and physical disabilities.
Well,
Regrow lost limbs. Cure cancer. Were you blind? Now you can see. Could you not walk? Well, guess what? Better get your ass up and into the kitchen because I've got burgers on the grill.
the the master chef, the new upcoming cleric subclass for Dungeons and Dragons 6e, the chef cleric. The master chef,
The Iron Chef.
the Iron Chef.
The Iron Chef, absolutely.
Your spells manifest
Yes,
as food.
So that would be like probably like my first 5 top choices that I would go with, just because they can synergize really, really well. Healthy lifestyle, infinite money, and overall better luck in my life.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfectly valid. I mean, like you, I'm not turning down Neat. Are you fucking kidding? $200,000 a year.
No, I can never turn that down. Yeah, I'm not going to turn down the Neat one. It's like just short of $200,000 a year, and because it uses $sign. Imagine you're in a country where the U.S. dollar actually goes way farther.
Like Canada?
Like it's worth more in other countries. So the conversion rate would mean that you're technically even richer.
Oh yeah. As a Canadian, I can tell you right now that I'm feeling that. Right now, the Canadian dollar is at like 66 cents to your dollar. It's kind of
Oh my
absurd.
god.
Kind of absurd.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
So yeah, definitely go to a place, definitely go to a country where the conversion rate works in your favor, and that 500 is like that $500 is more like 500,000 a day. I don't know.
yeah. So I mean, you'll be living
Um,
like a king regardless of where you live for $500 a day. So
yeah, you could just go to a country like what's that one movie Euro Trip? They go to that one place where it's like, oh, we got $1.50. What can we get here? They're in they're one of those real one of those really dirty Slavic countries where it's like, oh, we're really war torn, a lot of poverty here. This place just looks like hell. Uh, God, where did they say they were? I forget if it was made up or if it was real. Uh,
I feel like if it was a movie, they
I think it was
probably like
I think it was
Yugoslavia.
what did they say? I maybe Yugoslavia. I don't know. But definitely it's one of those. It was definitely one of those Slavic countries. And they're like, oh, we've only got like collectively like a little like $1, like a dollar and a half. What are we going to do? We're fucking stranded here, and it just instantly cuts 5-star hotels, lobster coming through. They've got things coming through on silver platters, and they only spent like 30 cents. Hell, they even toss one of those of the waiters a nickel as a tip, and he's like, "You see this?" And he slaps his boss, who was there the whole time, like just because these are their high rollers. He says, "You see this?" Slaps him. With this, I opened my own hotel. Like, Jesus. I don't know what country in the world where you can get away with that level of obscene wealth, but
Damn.
comment down below in the chat. Comment down below in the chat to see what kind of country where it's like you could really stretch the American dollar at.
Oh.
I would love to visit. I would love to visit. Get my money's worth.
I mean,
All right, so yeah,
that's one way to advertise your
that
way to
will.
travel. So I had neat. I'm gonna go with neat. Who needs the gym? Slept like a baby, and I have a very important clarification on that one. Tasty, and I actually kind of like doing work, so subspace.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So subspace house. Subspace house is just because you can't get much more alone than your own pocket dimension. So
And if you're living off of that instead of living in a house that you got to pay a mortgage on, that would definitely free you up from a lot of responsibilities.
yeah. Especially since that means I don't have to pay a mortgage with my neat blessings.
Exactly, you can just save that. You can just save that up. Plus, it would definitely really work with with the sleeping one, just because time's already moving at 1/10 the speed it normally does, so you can make those naps really last and just go to a full on coma if you felt like it.
Exactly. And even if I wasn't in there, and let's say I did decide to speed run the day by just going, you know what, fuck that noise, I'm only going to sleep for an hour. What's a good way to alleviate the actual tiredness of your body? Frying your food with a healthy beam.
Exactly.
And of course, who needs the gym is just because I'm a lazy bitch and I want a nice ass. So let's get this over with, shall we?
Just be like, you know what? Those moments in the day I think we can all relate to this. The moment, like you get those, the who needs the gym is great for those of us who have moments where it's like, you know what? I feel like randomly doing a couple of push-ups or a few squats. Like you randomly just do like a couple reps of a super simple exercise. Take this and just do that. That's your workout routine. It just may like, oh great, it may only be in small increments, but it works. You're never gonna gain the negative stuff back.
And who needs the, and again, combine it with the tasty, and you can get away with making your food healthy, and it becomes a feedback loop of I am immortal.
Exactly.
So definitely, so yeah, I think those would be my 5, because like I know you were apprehensive about the subspace house and sleep like a baby, and I already made the case for sleep like a baby, but for subspace house, I'm just like, I like having my own space.
Yeah, it'd be great. Hey Barb,
Yep.
Can we put a timestamp right here? Can I just take a little break from this so I can
Call your mom.
call up my mom? Yeah, because we started later, because of me. I didn't really realize.
Yeah.
We started pretty late. We've been going on a while. We still got 3 more to go to.
Yeah. This is gonna be a long one.
All right. So that last one, clearly we can jabberjaw on to the heat death of the universe. So let's move on to the second so-called short one of the day, though that's not really saying much when it comes to the two of us, because clearly we can make a short conversation last for far longer than it needs to be.
Yep.
I think that's just the Canadian and you merging with the old Midwest in me. Uh, yeah. So this next one is called Sort of Super. It's a very similar one. It's very similar to Comfy Powers. There's 12 different options here you can choose from, but you can only choose 3 of them.
Right.
This one I particularly love to do whenever I'm bored, because you can all of these you can find really creative ways to synergize these abilities together. And if you guys can't tell by this point, I love synergy because it just makes stuff even better.
Absolutely.
This one is well, let's dive into the introduction for this one.
Yes, indeed.
All right, you got it pulled up there, Barb?
Yep, it is.
Okie doke. All right. Shaken from a normal and pleasant dream, a voice addresses you and tells you that you are to receive power. Not mighty or great power, no, and I guess apparently not comfortable power either, but power nonetheless. The powers that be have seen fit to give you these powers and see what you make of them. You may choose 3 powers. If you want to play a fun drinking game, take a shot every time they say the word powers in this introduction.
You'll get drunk in no time.
Yeah. Thank goodness I gave that up back in college. All right, so same one. We'll do the columns, top to bottom, left to right. So the first one is called invert emotion. Pretty simple. An individual targeted by you will respond to all stimuli with the opposite emotional reaction that circumstance would normally evoke for the next hour, or until you remove the effect. And targeting only requires a clear line of sight. Good Lord, the amount of chaos you could sow with this would be catastrophic. Like, oh my god, like say say that that a friend of yours is going on a big day with somebody they've been looking forward to for a long time. They're finally getting it, and you really just want to fuck up their date because you're one of those prank show YouTubers
Yeah.
that's into that sort of stuff. Just hit them with this, and immediately just watch it turn into the worst date of all time.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This one I just find, like, I don't know how useful this would inherently be. It's not one of the options I usually choose. But if you're a cruel bastard with a sick sense of humor, this one you could probably have a lot of fun with. Just make somebody have the opposite reaction for a whole hour.
The emotional audacity of what you will commit is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, you can take it from like minor stuff. Like if you're a road rager like me, or if you see that somebody's road raging, just you know what? Purposefully like brake check people, get them to stop, and then when they're on their way in, just zap them with the invert emotion, and then watch as they do nothing but compliment you for for nearly killing them. Like
you slam on the brakes, you hit them with this, you step outside, they come towards you, and they just give you a big hug, and they're like, I fucking love you, man.
I am so happy. They'll just hit you with a, hey, you bastard, zap. I am so happy that you're okay. You had me so worried there. Oh god, don't ever do that again.
Alternatively, oh, you bastard. Oh, you bastard. It's all in the different tone, my guy. Next up, Holistic
Uh,
deduction.
this one I find is very, very useful and a very interesting ability,
Yeah.
especially since I don't really know much about like I know there's things like holistic healing and stuff like that. Not gonna get into all of. I'm not gonna get into how my personal views on on that matter. Uh, that's a whole separate thing. But I do understand the basicness of like holistic. Everything is interconnected. A very interesting concept.
Yeah.
So for this one, the world now operates for you based on the interconnectedness of all things. So long as you don't remain stagnant, any action that you take, however ridiculous it may be, will ultimately be a step towards the solution to one of the problems that you're currently facing. Now, this will lead you towards answers and solutions, but you must still recognize and implement the solutions on your own. So this power doesn't do all the heavy lifting for you; it just gets you going in the right direction.
Yeah. So
So,
so I like the
yeah,
possible example that they have down here with the car.
yeah, following a car at random when you're lost, it may not lead to where you were trying to go, but it will lead you to where you need to be.
Like, oh man, I don't know where I need to go or how to get to this place. You follow the car. It doesn't get you to where you need to go, but if it gets you to a bus station that has a map that lets you get your bearings, that's just fine too.
Or it could lead to more fun results. Like say, oh man, I need to. It's getting late. I need to find somewhere to spend the night. You may think I need to find a hotel or something, but instead you veer off. You stop at a bar. You get a quick drink. Next thing you know, you're chatting it up with a hottie at the bar. Next thing you know, you're going home with said hottie, and hey, you found a place to sleep for the night. Wasn't what you were anticipating, but you got more out of it.
I mean, yeah.
Like, hey. And next thing you know, it's 6 months down the line. You and the hottie from the bar are now dating and looking at getting a place together because your relationship is serious. So you not only found a place to sleep for the night, you actually got like that got you set on another path in life.
You love to see
So,
it. You love to fucking see it.
hey, yeah, and honestly that's pretty cool. Basically, working off of the interconnectedness of all things means that so long as you, so long as you're actively doing something, things will just kind of work out,
Right.
so to speak. So all right, so let's see the next one. This one is astral injection. It's a little limited, but still pretty cool of an idea. You can project your consciousness into any person you know the name and face of. Your body will be unconscious while you do this, and you will have no awareness of it. While in another's body, you experience everything that they do through all of their senses. However, you have no control over their thoughts or actions. So basically, this is basically the premise of that movie, Being John Malkovich.
I mean, that makes
Like,
sense.
congratulations! You enter a door. You enter a tiny doorway into a dark dimension. And then you find yourself getting a POV view of famous actor John Malkovich, and you're just in his head for, well, I think they were in there for like a few hours or something. And then next thing you know, you're ejected out under a bridge in New Jersey or something, like random, like wherever you are in the world, you go there, and now you're over here in New Jersey.
Oh God.
A weird setup, but yeah, it automatically ejects you after a while. Was how it worked in the movie here. Well, there doesn't seem to be a time limit for it. You can just put yourself in and out whenever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to like sort of possess people, but not be able to do anything?
It's
Well,
a cool way.
congratulations.
It's a cool way to get their perspective on things. You're kind of like a passenger in their body.
Exactly.
Speaking of, speaking of in their body, temporary genius.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite options for this one. Honestly, I have a hard time not choosing it every single time.
It's one of your go-tos.
It is one of my go-tos. It has a huge price attached to it, but worth it. Um, temporary genius, for every 10 hours, every 24 hours, um, it sounds a little weird saying it out, but every 24 hours, you then get the option to activate an ability that lasts for 10 hours. Then once those 10 hours are done, you have to wait 24 hours before you can do it again. Just to make sure, for anybody like me, where just reading it as is still feels a little like feels like it's worded weird.
Yeah.
Just want to clarify that. So for 10 hours every 24 hours, you can activate your temporary genius. During the 10-hour duration of this power, your IQ increases into the quadruple digits, and you gain access to and control of all autonomic functions of your brain. And each time you activate temporary genius, however, your normal unboosted IQ will drop by 1 point. Your normal IQ cannot drop below a 70. You will always remember how to activate this ability.
That is.
So, yeah. It's an ability that makes you dumber once it wears off, but makes you the smartest person in the entire living universe while it's active.
So it.
Honestly,
Hmm.
oh, go ahead.
I'm just like looking at temporary genius. I'm like, this is one of those ones that would be, uh, interesting to mess around with. Even though I don't know how I feel about the permanent IQ drop, even if it's only by 1 point at a time. So I probably would end up using it sparingly, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't say permanent. It just says it drops every time you use it. Your unboosted IQ will then drop by 1 point every time you use it, which, depending on what your IQ point is, which, by the way, the whole thing of IQ points is, I can't exactly say it's a scam, but what it's based on is a little.
It's not.
What?
It's not exactly the best science.
It's not exactly the best science because what the thing they use to determine what your IQ point is just this one test that was it like a French school teacher made years ago, and they decided, okay, we're going to do that as the basis for determining IQ points.
Exactly. Like,
So,
that's why.
IQ, yeah.
Yeah, that's why like with IQ, I try to treat it as a general vague term. Like, what is 70 IQ really? Is that average IQ?
Oh, no. Actually, 70 IQ is borderline vegetative.
Really?
Yeah, the minimum IQ you would need to still classify as a functioning brain, um, is close to that. It's a little lower than that.
Oh,
So
I thought it was
being a
like
70
12.
would mean no. Like the lowest recorded IQ was on this one prisoner that was sent to death row. He had an IQ of 59.
Oh.
He was considered extremely developmentally disabled, had the mind of a child, and was on death row. Literally, he was literally led to the gas chamber, not knowing that he was about to die. And in fact, he carried his toy with him. He had like a toy train or something. Like he couldn't he acted like a little kid,
Ow.
and I'm talking like 5, 6, maybe a 7-year old.
Oh lord.
Just very childlike, very friendly, very optimistic, very wide-eyed and curious. Um, completely unable to conceptualize any sort of complex ideas. You're a bobbling baby. You could not. You are not a functioning person.
Then
Uh,
that is a little scary.
so yeah. So at 70, you would be considered like developmentally disabled. Probably like the spectrum being like considered like mentally retarded. Like you would have like mental retardation, severe autism. It would give you basically the equivalent of a mental disability
Yeah.
that affects your cognitive functions. At 70, not quite as bad as that guy, where it's like you're just this babbling little kid.
But
Um, but it's definitely very bad. You do not want to get that low. Most people are closer. Most people are like over 100. I think like the average. I don't know. Correct me in the chat comments. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think most people kind of hover between like 100 and um, not quite 120, but like 115. Like there's a very small percentage that people usually stay around, and it's around the 100 mark. So to be at a 70 IQ is very sub average. Fortunately, you would always the power states that you'll always be able to remember how to activate this. You won't lose that ability. Though I've discussed this with you before, if I would say I would consider that only a short term issue, because if I'm able to figure out how to if I'm able to get like, oh, I have a quadruple digit IQ, which means at minimum I have a 1,000 base IQ, probably even higher. I'm probably smart enough to figure out how to develop a means of boosting my IQ.
Exactly.
Meaning that I do this enough time. Like I do this once. That's the first thing I dedicate myself to, is figuring out how to undo the effects of this ability once it wears off, and I then I work that out as best as I can. And the second, and like, okay, if it is possible for me to do it in my time, then absolutely I will be less worried about it. I'll be all right. Here's the chemical concoction I inject myself. I'll inject myself basically with the limitless pill.
Yeah.
How do I make the limitless pill so that way when I'm not actively using this ability, I can still prevent myself from basically from falling to the 70 IQ barrier. So literally, it makes you smart enough that you should be able to figure out how to undo the drawback to this ability. So I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty handy. That's why I'm not too worried about taking temporary genius, because you should be able to undo the effects.
Or at the very least, find a way to mitigate them.
Exactly, because like because basically what you're talking about there is making some sort of advanced nootropic drug. I mean, we already have stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're just figuring out how to make one that actually works like we would expect from a movie like Limitless.
Exactly.
So yeah, that one's clearly one of my favorites. Moving on actually to one of my other favorite abilities from this list, time compression. What? It's my piss poor American attempt at doing the Doctor Who thing. I can't do the wibbly wobbly effects.
Or are you talking about the? Or are you talking about the? Because are you talking about like when the TARDIS fades in and out of existence, or are you talking about the title sequence?
During the title sequence, when there's wah wah wah.
Oh,
yeah. Like,
yeah, I hear you. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Anyways, so time compression. At will, you can enter a state of compressed time where the past, present, and future are all occurring simultaneously for you at your current location. This compressed state only encompasses all of human existence. You cannot interact with anything larger than 50 pounds while in this state. However, anything of that size or smaller that you're holding when you return to normal time comes with you. If you can sift through the chaos, there's a lot of information available. So, it's technically time travel, and it's all based on all of time that happened exactly where you're standing exists simultaneously. So, the past from our caveman past to our Jetsons tier future to the present right now is all happening based on that location.
Okay.
So you can literally look into the past and present, figure shit out immediately. Like you want to settle arguments about who said what, who did what, what actually happened. Well, congratulations. You can do that. You just have to physically go to where that happened in order to do it. But once you're there, activate this ability, and boom, you could watch like a famous duel in history that people are like, well, no one really knows who won this duel. The story was cut off there. Like, there we go. I just went back and watched it. This guy won. And he did it by cheating, too. Also, I robbed him of his gun because, the fact that you can remove stuff from their point in time, so long as it's 50 pounds or lighter, is absolutely insane. Like, oh my god. It doesn't bring up that this would cause paradoxes, but I'd imagine you'd be causing paradoxes by removing stuff.
Well, you could technically only cause a paradox if you go back in time. If you go forward in time, you just brought it to the past.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would be doing. It's like, technically, to you it wouldn't be a paradox because it hasn't happened yet, but it would be a paradox in the future because that wasn't supposed to be here.
Yeah, well, that's a problem for the future, not a problem for you in the now.
Yeah, if at all possible, I would absolutely just, be like, you know what? My go-to is I'll go to the future, steal all the information I need. I'll take devices, blueprints, information. I'll take it back to my time period and work with it here. I'll probably find that the limitless drug I'm looking for and solve the problem for temporary genius just by popping into the future and picking that up.
Yeah.
All right. So next one. This one's pretty funny, and if you were like me and you grew up watching a lot of Looney Tunes, you might really like this ability. Cartoon physics.
Yes.
Your body now interacts with the world on the same level as Looney Tunes logic. Walk on the air? Just don't look down. Get in a car crash? Well, everything else may be damaged, but you are just a temporary accordion. This, however, only affects your body. You can't put a target on the floor to make anvils fall from the sky. And I'd imagine you also can't just draw a tunnel or a black hole on a wall and just travel through.
No. But you yourself are functionally immortal otherwise. And your own body would be hammer space. You could just reach into your mouth and pull stuff out that way.
I don't think that's inherently how it works. It's really just Toon Force in the way that your body is affected by external forces. So there's no, unfortunately, because I love the idea, but unfortunately there wouldn't be any sort of hammer space, and there's no traveling in and out of pictures. None of the really, really cool stuff that the Looney Tunes could do. However, what this does effectively do is make you completely immune to damage or other means to effectively alter your existence. Like, what if, probably one of my favorite examples would be like from a Popeye cartoon, and God literally turned off the universe. Like, God turned it off. It was done. It was like he was trying to stop Popeye because Popeye was going to beat him up, as he does.
Yeah.
And he flipped the switch, turned off the universe. Life no longer existed. And Popeye just kept existing.
Popeye just said no.
Popeye said no. You could have that basically, so you could do the same thing here. You can accept or alter how damage is. Like, you can get damaged, but it doesn't. You can get damaged, but you're not gonna like stay damaged. Like, oh no, you get beat up like Wile E. Coyote. You're bruised. You're broken. Your limbs are literally hanging off. You got little bones sticking out. You're wrapped up in bandages and bleeding. Then just just like put your thumb in your mouth, blow, and boom, you inflate yourself back to normal, perfectly fine. So really, so long as your body interacted with external forces, as what's listed here, So long as you're not trying to do something that would cause an effect to happen, then the Looney Tunes cartoon logic would take effect.
Yeah, it's basically your body is you are now physically a cartoon, which I would which that is nothing to sneeze at.
Actually, you know what? Maybe the painting thing might work. I'd have to give it a lot more thought.
Okay.
But moving on, something that it's not quite Toon Force abilities, but it is something that's just as cool. This is Aura of Awesome. And based on the picture here, I think you can kind of tell, you can kind of guess what you're in for here just based on this alone.
Yeah.
So, Aura of Awesome means that insanely cool things will regularly occur wherever you go. And the actions that you take will always have awesome results. Now, full disclaimer, this doesn't mean that everything you try you'll succeed at, but rather the attempts will always cause something amazing. You are now the most interesting man in the world.
Yep.
So yeah, you can have stuff like this where it's a velociraptor firing an Uzi holding lit dynamite riding a great white shark.
While you're jet skiing behind a cruise ship being driven by Doom Guy.
Cruise ships are boring.
Speedboats driven by Doom Guy who's fighting water demons.
Okay, that's better. So yeah, insanely cool shit will always happen to you no matter what. You will not succeed. If anything, you're probably far more likely to fail in spectacularly amazing ways, but you know what? You will never not be memorable.
And you know what? I mean, it says to combine this with 3 others, but if there was ever a more obvious synergy between Aura of Awesome and cartoon physics, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I think you would honestly. I think if you're going to choose Aura of Awesome, you kind of need cartoon physics to ensure that you survive whatever crazy shit you get up to.
But on the bright side, if you get cartoon physics, it opens up Aura of Awesome.
Exactly. Neither is required for the other.
No.
We're just saying that based on how each of these things are described, you might want to get one with the other.
Yeah, and synergy is always a thing. Plus, I mean, I lost my train of thought. Let's move on.
All right. Next up, this one is perfect for our digital age. For those of you who, like me, have accepted the fact that there's no such thing as privacy anymore, well, gear yourself up for this latest edition called Wall of Information. Whenever you look at a person face to face, you can see all of the information that they have ever transferred or stored digitally in a heads up style interface. And you can then download any of this information to any storage device that you're touching. So congratulations. If you're a hacker and you're trying to get all sorts of information on people, this is the way to do it. Embarrassing videos, text confirmations, all their social media stuff. You can everything as long as they've ever transferred it or stored it digitally. So I don't think it's going to give you live access to their socials, but just all the digital information that they have access to that they've manipulated in some way.
You wouldn't be on their Facebook directly, let's say.
No.
But you
no. But you could see everything that they've ever because people store all sorts of stuff. They have old text messages, they have old photos, old videos, digital notes that they take, Google searches, everything that they've downloaded from different websites and such.
And that would be
you can see all of that.
And it would be expanding all the time. If you were looking at somebody who is actively scrolling Facebook and and you were checking their picture feed, their downloaded pictures feed, you could almost see them downloading pictures in real time with this.
Yes.
Which is...
So it's not necessarily all the information that they have access to. Here's all of my personal sites, my social medias, but rather the information that they would probably be posting to those sites that you can see. And so long as you have a handy dandy little thumb drive or Like if you're like me, I've definitely got. I usually have like some sort of external drive on my person most of the time. Um, it also says any storage device you're touching. I think that phrasing should technically be able to work with just your average cell phone. Hell, if you take something like this, where this isn't my active cell phone I use anymore, it's an old one that's still screen's all beat up and falling apart, but it physically works. I could just hold this and store the data onto this thing. So long as I'm touching, just be like, oh look, here's some embarrassing photos. Well, I'm going to store that away for later. Or if you're one of those, or if you're somebody where maybe you're going through a divorce or something, you want that evidence that your significant other was cheating on you. Well, your disability would absolutely allow you to find it and store it on a handy little device, easy peasy. So get the dirt on anyone at any time with this ability, basically.
Yeah.
And speaking of anyone at any time, next ability is the collective unconscious. This one could absolutely. This one is it's definitely a gray area in terms of abilities, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because not everything on here is winners. Most of them are, but this is definitely one of the
Last place.
more medium. Oh no! Last place ones would be for me like inverting motion, or the one after this like liquid transmutation.
Oh.
It's like these, yeah, these ones I don't personally find super useful. This would be like one tier above that. Like if those were like D tier, like the bottom of the list, these would be C tier.
Yeah, I
This one would definitely be like a C tier ability. So collective unconscious, you gain.
Well, there goes his audio. Jackson, you are currently not speaking. Wait. Hello?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
All right, freaking Discord. Well, you can edit around that.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna start off at the top with the collective one. All right, so collective unconscious.
Yeah.
You gain collective knowledge of every man, woman, and child on the planet. This is a pool of their general knowledge. It's not specific or individual memories. This does not affect your ability to understand all these complex ideas, and you can have like that beautiful mind thing. Like when people have like their brain blast, you can see formulas, statistics, shapes, drawings, diagrams, all passing by as you're figuring stuff out as your brain is suddenly getting awoken to all this new information. That doesn't happen. You're still just you processing this as processing the same information that you would just like normal. So you don't get any sort of boost to your thinking ability there.
Not
And while there is a great deal of conflicting misinformation in the collective, the data with the most consensus will always be what sticks out most to you whenever you seek information. So basically, you can just mentally access a far less accurate version of Google. If you're just trying to look up, hey, what are these answers? Like, what is this? What is that? It's basically the ways it's like that because on the internet people can post whatever they want, including incorrect and stupid information for the purposes of they're either too dumb to realize that it's wrong, or they're deliberately posting it to know it's wrong. So they're deliberately posting what they know is wrong to misinform people for whatever reason. And people do what they do. Governments, businesses, trolls on the internet. People all have their reasons. So this just gets you what's considered the most widely. So whatever you're looking for in the collective unconsciousness, what is considered the most widely known and accepted answer is what comes out to you. Basically, if you were trying to decide what the right answer was by polling instead of by research. In a nutshell.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, this is useful, absolutely. But because it's not hard hitting facts and research that give you the true answer every single time, I find that less reliable because I want the hard hitting facts. I don't want to be like, well, this is likely the right answer based on what 50 people in Iowa said. Nothing against Iowa. Nothing against Iowa. I just wanted to pick like a random. I just picked like a random middle of nowhere state I've never been to before. Love those potatoes. Oh wait, sorry, that's Idaho. Never mind. Right, I think Iowa. Sorry, the only thing that comes to Iowa, I think, is Field of Dreams for me. So cornfield, and ghosts. That's your main. That's that. So I think that's what that state's main export is cornfield, ghosts, and Kevin Costner being slightly less boring than he usually is. I actually enjoyed him in that. All right. Also, fight me on Kevin Costner.
I won't because
Man,
I don't care one way or the other for Kevin Costner, but
I mean, he's no John Hurt. I mean, that guy is the human equivalent of sandpaper. Oh, watch that guy in Galaxy Quest and have him read the line of "I love you, wife" as deadpan and emotionless as a fucking robot, while giving her the most feel nothing on screen kiss I've ever seen amongst two actors. And compared to that, Kevin Costner's a fucking Shakespearean actor.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh god.
Kevin is situational. Put him in the right screenplay and he works. Outside of that, the dude, like, oh yes, I'm just going to stand here and politely get sucked up by a tornado. Yeah, I'm totally. This is how people react to being sucked up by a tornado. Isn't that right, my super son? See, you are part of the reason why Waterworld failed.
Oh.
Hey, Dennis. Hey, I know for a fact it wasn't Dennis Hopper. That man was carrying that film.
But
okay, that man gave his best when he was fucking King Koopa in the Mario movie, the original Mario movie. As much of a piece of shit as it was, you can't take away that it was the first one, and he did his damn best.
I mean, he had to work with two actors who were so.
It is a shame that he never got any more act credits after that.
Yeah.
Okay, he did get more after that. It's just he doesn't have more now.
Yeah, I get you. Regardless.
Wait, is he dead? Yeah, whatever. You know what? We'll probably edit that tangent out.
Maybe. I'll see how I feel about it.
Maybe. At least edit it to sound tasteful. So next ability, if you can tell by the picture here, is you can pull a Jesus with liquid transmutation. Turn any substance that is liquid at the current ambient temperature into any other substance that would be liquid at the current ambient temperature. Requires only a clear line of sight to transmute a liquid. 5 gallons of liquid can then be transmuted at a time. Pause on that. All right. See you later. Bye. Yeah, Denise was heading to work.
Right on. Get that bread.
Yeah, normally I would have said, "Oh, hey, give me a second. I want to walk around." But you know what? If she wants to be short and curt with me when I was trying to get her attention on break, I can do the same fucking thing.
Indeed.
I don't have to stop. All right. Getting back to it. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, liquid transmutation definitely. It's not one. As I said before, it's not one of my top choices, but it is definitely very. It could definitely be very useful, especially if you were to I don't know, turn all the water in a human body into molten lead.
Make them explode.
Oh, just like catch on fire as they all just melt as they melt.
Right. Oh
Um,
yeah, you're changing
it just,
all of the water. Yeah.
well, yeah, if you well, actually, well, that might not technically work. It says just any liquid, any substance that would be a liquid at the current ambient temperature can be turned into any other substance that would be liquid at the same current ambient temperature. So you're not gonna be like in the Arctic and be like, I want to transmute, I want some water because that's gonna freeze.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it like not unless what you're transmuting, unless you're already transmuting something that's in like a thermos or something that's shielded from the cold. Um, and even then, it's based on the current ambient temperature. I don't know. It gets a little bit. You have to really start considering like that one starts getting into well technicalities and technical loopholes
Well,
that I usually just avoid this. But you could do something like I want to turn all the water in the human body into wine.
which would kill someone.
Just see what happens. Yeah,
But here's what
you
here.
can still do stuff.
Oh, requires only clear line of sight to transmute a liquid, and 5 gallons of fluid can be transmuted at a time. So here's what you do, right? You want to be the ultimate assassin? Here's what you do. You cut somebody, you cut somebody deep enough so that they start to actively bleed, and then
Well, you don't need to. You don't need to see their blood. I don't think.
it says clear line of sight. So
Oh wait, no, no. You know what? Yeah, maybe you're right. Unless you, or you could just get them to cry.
I mean, that would get me a similar result for something else. But like, let's say I want to do it to blood because I believe you have about 5 gallons of blood inside of your body or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
So you see,
sounds about right. If we're wrong, comments get on that.
yes, indeed, y'all know what to do. But in the case of liquid transmutation, if you could see somebody actively bleeding, you could then use this power to turn all of their blood into something else, like cheese, or rather milk.
No, it has to be liquid. Yeah, milk would work out.
Yeah, that's why I
Milk. You could do honey,
brandy.
brandy. You could turn, you could turn. What I think is hilarious. This I find completely fucking hilarious. What if you just turn their blood into a different type of blood? Like somebody who's an somebody who's an O positive, it's now you now
You make them
basically you change the type of blood that's in their system. You're not changing the type of blood that their body needs. They would still need, like say, type A, but instead you change it to now all the blood that's physically in their body is now like B minus. It's B negative. Like, what would that do? Like, would that if you changed all the blood that's in your body to blood of a different type? Would that technically like what would that do? I gotta see what that is because it's not that's clearly not something I think enough to. Oh, I've thought about it. I've considered it, and I know the answer.
I know the answer though. I'll tell you exactly what would happen.
What would happen?
You're
do enlighten me.
Okay, so if you get the wrong blood transfuse, like I'm O positive, for instance, so I can receive any positive blood type in a blood transfusion, but I can't receive any negative blood except for O negative because O negative is the universal donor, aka lovingly the slut of blood types, but
nice.
But but O negative is kind of cool because if memory serves, you can give it to A or B positive people as well. It kind of hits that. Basically, if you have any positive blood, I think O positive will help. Can help in that regard. But if you get the wrong blood in your body, from a blood transfusion, your body will actively reject the blood because it believes it's an invader. It's a biological invader. So it would basically cause to call it an allergic reaction would be to undersell it, but it's kind of the same mechanism because at the end of the day, all an allergic reaction is your immune system freaking out, causing an immune response. So your body sees this foreign blood in your system and is trying to kill it. So there have been cases where organs get rejected for the same reason because the blood that is fed into them is not the kind of blood that that organ is used to. So if you were to, say, be an A negative person and your blood suddenly got turned into B positive, you would basically suffer total organ shock and just die. Like, basically just drop on the spot because all of your organs are getting the wrong fuel and your immune system just freaks the fuck out and you just shut down.
Basically, like if you put sugar in a gas tank.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just you get fucked up very, very fast. It's not a slow death. It's not a quick death. It's kind of slow.
Well, it's not the fastest death, and it's definitely not going to be. It's definitely not going to be pleasant.
Hold on, quick pause. I think definitely implied since you're only affecting the liquids.
Yeah.
It's not like emotion. It's not like inverted emotion where you just have to look at the person to see this, or like inverted emotion or wall of information where you need like eye to eye, where you just need to see what it is you're trying to look at. Liquid transmutation, you need to see the actual liquid you're working with here. So you would have to get like a little cut or something just to cause them to bleed, and see about if it works that way.
I could just picture.
And if you,
sorry, I was just picturing I was picturing an assassin would like go up to a guy, give him like a nick in the cheek, and then do the thing.
yeah, or really just walking past somebody in a busy crowd. You accidentally cut them on a thing, make it look like, sorry, I clipped you, bro.
Yeah.
That could easily turn into, then you just turn around and as you're apologizing, you do the thing. But honestly, I'd probably use it for stuff just pretty straightforward. I would absolutely be like, oh, here, for one, let me turn this water, this disgusting tap water into really nice tap water.
I mean, it's.
I'll turn it into purified, into filtered, to heavily filtered, purified. I'll turn it into like the like life water or some of those other ones. It's like, oh, we've triple, quadruple filtered it. We've added electrolytes. We made it so good, and it's also $5, $6 a bottle. Like they scam you with that whole thing. Like, here, I'll turn it into like really good water, or even more. I'll stop buying sodas at the store again, and I'll exclusively do this to be, I'm going to turn my tap water into soda that doesn't exist anymore. Like my favorite, Dr. Pepper, Cherry Vanilla Dr. Pepper, or Crystal Pepsi. I love that shit.
So
I could
yeah,
I could do that.
You totally could. and the Angry Texan said, "This shitty soda shall be Crystal Pepsi."
The Angry Texan says, "Let there be Dr. Pepper." Specifically discontinued Dr. Pepper. That the idiots in charge decided, oh, we're not going to do that anymore. It made us too much money.
Oh God, it's hilarious because like you sent me the Oddworld meme and it turned into a whole thing. Even though it was like, yeah, apparently Dr. Pepper was Texan Soulstorm. So anyhow,
yeah. So moving on from that, we got a couple more here to get through.
Yeah.
Next up is Disease Hunter. This one is very anime. I'm not gonna lie, this is the anime choice to go with. At will, you can now see the ethereal. When you look at somebody with a disease, you can see an ethereal monster feeding on them. The more serious the illness, the more fearsome the creature. You can also turn any weapon you touch ethereal. Ethereal weapons can only harm ethereal creatures. So there's no worry that if you take a gun and like, all right, this can harm monsters now, there's no worry about that also harming people. So you can just fire at will, and ain't nobody gonna be able to say a damn thing. If you drive off or kill the creature, then it instantly cures the person that they were feeding from. These creatures, these ethereal creatures, can also harm you. So
huh.
so congratulations, you can literally kill cancer.
This is some fucking anime shit, and like the
Yeah.
anime combination that I see out of everything that we have so far, is what is it? It's Aura of Awesome, um, Disease Hunter, and either Wall of Information or Temporary Genius.
Yeah, very anime. Like you like. I'd imagine you trigger temporary genius by doing that thing where you use your middle finger to press up the glasses. So you press the glasses back up to your face, and it triggers the light reflection thing. Shing. Yeah, that's how I would activate it every time. I'm not gonna lie. It is very, very anime.
That's fucking
Uh,
perfect. There you
so,
go.
so
Temporary.
yeah, with Disease Hunter, you can instantly cure people of cancer, depression, Alzheimer's, just all of these illnesses. Because it doesn't say it has to be like a physical illness; it's just some sort of illness, and we have
Yeah.
both, and that covers physical and mental diseases. So, congratulations, Grandpa's memories are going down the drain because dementia came back. Well, congratulations, you cut the head off of that thing, and next thing you know, he's telling you in exact detail. He'll now be able to tell you in exact detail just how he managed to go uphill both ways, going to and from home and school. He's not just gonna say it and then forget how he did it and then move on to the mushy peas that he's excited to eat. R.I.P. Grandpa, I miss you.
Big RIP to our grandparents for real.
Yeah, one of my grandfathers, he was suffering from a few conditions, lived in hospice, and I'm just glad I got to
Yeah.
see him when I did. So R.I.P. Grandpa, love you much. And so that one's definitely the most anime thing on this list. So it's cool. And the last option here is called Skill Balancer. Pretty simple. Whenever you attempt to do anything, your skill level is automatically set to the skill level of the most skilled person at that activity within a 180-foot radius of you. If you are the most skilled at that activity that you're currently attempting, then your skill level is unchanged. So you could absolutely challenge a neurosurgeon to a head-to-head, like, oh, who can? Like, I bet I can get this surgery done faster than you. There's a chance you could. You are now instantly as good as them. Like all their knowledge, all their skills is yours regarding that subject. Um, you can absolutely make a killing at sports competitions, being like, all right, I've got whoever their best player is. I am exactly as good as them. Again, unless of course you happen to be better than their best player.
Right, but that's still fine because if you happen to be better than their best player, well, that just means that you're better.
Then you don't need to worry. You're already better. You don't need to worry about it.
Exactly.
So yeah, really, there's no lose here. If you're in a competition, which I think I would use this the most frequently in, either you're not better than them and you are not, the playing field is now instantly leveled, giving you a much better chance of winning, or you're already better than them and you don't need the boost.
Exactly.
So yeah, great little ability. Very fluctuating, clearly. So it doesn't say like these are permanent. You're now changed. It's just for whatever it is, and as long as it's in that radius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Which is just the nice way to kind of keep everything together. What? So it says you may choose 3. So which 3 are you going to choose this time? Because I understand you visit this one frequently.
Yeah, I visit this frequently, and I like to make little builds out of this. Like, okay, which 3 can I get to synergize together? I have 3 that I think are like my most popular off rip.
Yeah.
The first one I like to refer to it as the timey wimey bastard. Uh, is the combination. It's the combination of temporary genius, wall of information, and time compression.
Okay.
So I would use my time traveling abilities to obtain tech, information, and resources throughout the timeline, and use it to benefit myself and possibly society. The first thing being a way to reverse, as I said earlier, to reverse the IQ negating effects of temporary genius. So, yeah, time compression, I can physically take stuff from the future. Maybe if I need something that's bigger than that, like I need information, well, great. I can just look at the inventor of this thing, especially if it's in the future, it's going to be all digital. I'll just nab that information from him, take it back to the past with me, and then use my temporary genius to make sense of everything I have and actually use it in the here and now. So that's probably like my number one choice because I feel like there's the most amount that has some of the most amount of synergy to it, where it all just perfectly works off of each other. The second build is the full on is to go full on anime, the Monster Hunter with Disease Hunter because who wouldn't want to be known as the greatest doctor in the world? Combine that with Aura of Awesome and Cartoon Physics.
So you would
So
take
I'll
cartoon
be
physics with it.
well again, yeah. Between I think both Disease Hunter and Aura of Awesome, either of those would require cartoon physics because Aura of Awesome, all sorts of crazy cool shit is happening, but that also means that any of it could probably kill you because it's dangerous.
Because
And Disease
Monster's
Hunter, these
dangerous.
monsters. And these Disease Hunter monsters, these ethereal disease monsters are always going to be after you to kill your ass because they know because once a monster realizes, oh, this guy can see me, and he's trying to kill me, they're going to fight back. So having something that protects you from taking damage would absolutely, I think, be necessary in that line of work. So Disease Hunter, Cartoon Physics, and then Aura of Awesome, just because I want people to know all about me. I want to be famous. Um, I will absolutely be. Like, let's see, with my ability to cure people by killing their ailments, combined with the passive awesome effect of making everything I do look super cool, people will pay through the nose for my services. In fact, because I offer something that big pharma cannot just replicate, I may not even charge most folks for the action. I just personally, I just want to make hospitals a thing of the past.
Well, paid hospitals, but also.
Hey, no, all hospitals. I'll kill all the disease. I'll do it myself.
Okay, now you're talking.
Besides, as long as we have, honestly, so long as we have hospitals, even if we did do like the smarter thing we made, if we had like free healthcare like you guys, and it was easier to deal with because we care because even if my government gave a damn about its people, it doesn't. Um, Even if they did, people are still going to try. People will always try to privatize different sectors and different things, and the best product that you can commodify is people. That's why the healthcare industry makes so much goddamn money because they've turned the people they serve into a commodity. So I'm just so you know what? It may be an extreme thing, but I could just I'll gradually eliminate hospitals one by one, just because I'm curing the world of these creatures, so that way people don't have to suffer from it again.
Exactly.
Also,
And look
yeah,
awesome and look awesome while you're doing it. I'm almost picturing like people are like filming you.
absolutely. I'm doing like some cool, like some real obscene '90s, early 2000s stuff where it's like, oh, I slide, I'll jump, I'll do a flip, I'll slide across the top of a car on my head while firing guns at cancer monsters.
It's some
Um,
fucking Matrix shit or wait, no. Blade. When he's in the nightclub fighting the vampires.
either, either one, but definitely preferably Blade.
Cuz Blade
Uh,
was a good time.
silliness and all. Even the bit where he just goes like, "Yeah," just like the random fist pump. Like, you know what? You do that. You looked awesome. You take that random fist pump.
You do that.
Uh, yeah. So definitely Monster Hunter. I'll look awesome so that way people know I'm badass. People are always going to be interested in me. Cartoon physics to keep myself alive, and disease hunter because I'm going to do something good with this.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh.
and that's and I'd say one more build that I call it the detective, which is holistic deduction, wall of information, and time compression. With these abilities, I could be the world's greatest detective, showing up wherever I'm needed to help people by finding out like their dirty secrets and stuff, and peering through time to suss out the truth. Meaning that, much like how the monster hunter would eliminate the need for hospitals, this would I could eliminate the need. I would eliminate cold cases in police work. Like nothing would go unsolved ever again.
Yep. You would be the modern Sherlock Holmes.
And I don't even have to be smart about it. I just need to know. Okay, when did this happen? All right, cool. Hold on. Yeah, he did it, and this is the murder item that he did, and also this is why he did it.
Yep.
I mean, holistic deduction means I'm always going to find a case. I'm never going to not
Have
have a
something.
case to work on.
You're always gonna have work.
Yeah, and again, I will charge out the nose for this. I can absolutely solve any case. There's nothing that I can't do because I can travel through time, obtain information super easily, and the circumstances always work out for me.
Make the cops pay.
Oh yeah, like all right. So my last build I created strictly to eliminate the need for hospitals. This time I'm eliminating the police. I'm completely eliminating the police force. Let me show you how. Let me show you how to do it.
That is fantastic.
Uh,
I only have one.
the government
The
government should be breaking down my door any second now.
FBI. He's not the man. If I had to go for
It's
one,
just me.
personally, I would do. Okay, so here's an interesting question before I settle in on my answer. Astral projection is pretty self-explanatory. You astral project into somebody else's body, and you can see from their perspective, right? And we all know how wall of information works.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing: I'm not in control of the body that I'm in, but I'm still an observer. Would I be able to?
Exactly.
Would I be able to see this? Would I be able to see the screen still? I just wouldn't be able to download it.
That is an interesting thing. Would wall of information still work while you're in? Well, okay, actually, I don't think it would because wall of information says that you have to look at a person face to face to see all the information. So if you are that person,
No,
then you wouldn't be looking at them.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about okay, detective scenario, right? We are. I need information on some sort of rich guy conspiracy thing. So and the best way, and he is holding some sort of ball I can't get into. So I know the name and face of a person inside of the party that I can observe. And what I can do then is astral inject myself into, we'll call her Haley Poundbottom.
Oh, I told you we're not that kind of a spicy channel.
You're ruining it. Hold on. Anyways,
this is not James Bond.
Shush, shush. It will be what I wish for it to be. Anyways, Haley Poundbottom will say I can project myself into her mind, and because she's inside of the party, I'm able to look through Haley's eyes and get the wall of information because I see that from her perspective. Like, my body might be inside of a van 100 miles away, but my mind's eye is seeing through Haley's perspective, and Haley's perspective is other people. So that's what I mean.
You know what? I think that could actually work. The main caveat being that you might be able to see the information, but you wouldn't be able to download any of it.
Nope.
Because again, that requires the bot. You would have Haley would need to for some reason be holding on to a data storage device for you to then actually like obtain any of this information. So you could see, but you couldn't touch. You'd be
Ex-
at the whims of whatever Haley is doing, and if she's not like looking, the second she stops looking at somebody, or maybe she only catches them for a glimpse, maybe she doesn't go near the person that you're trying to investigate.
yeah.
But I would say the only way you could really get around that is by just having Haley be an employee of yours. Like, okay, I need you to get into this for me. I'm gonna astral project into your body, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna do this for you. And basically acting like a little drone. Um,
Well, hold on. That would allow you to, yeah, that would let you get the information that you need. But at that point, why not do this combination where, by the way, before we get too far off track, in that case, I'm gonna play it safe and go with cartoon physics, aura of awesome, and skill balancer.
nice.
I call this the action hero. I'm the best at everything that a person can do because I'll be surrounded by some of the best people around. I have aura of awesome because I have aura of awesome. Awesome things are happening all the time, which would include major like action movie shit. So if I get embroiled,
That is true. You're probably attracting assassins and stuff coming at you. So people that would naturally be very good at a lot of action hero stuff would be regularly around you, and thus with skill bouncer, you would then be as good as them the second they show up on scene.
literally, except I have one advantage they don't. I have cartoon physics on my side.
Exactly. So you'll absolutely survive being shot.
Ergo, those boys.
Just try to lean into they hit your body and then they bounce back and shoot back at themselves. Otherwise, you get the more painful version of, oh, they shot me and now I'm full of holes like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, and the other thing too
Yep.
with cartoon physics is that one very important ruling about cartoon physics is that a lot of people will try to pull this little rule out of their butt to be like, actually, cartoon physics isn't actually that good. First of all, screw those guys. But second, they say that because cartoon physics only.
Absolutely screw those guys.
Uh,
Well, those are people who don't understand the potential of cartoon physics.
Exactly, because they're always saying, well, it has to be funny, and in order to do that, you must be able to have a gag. Dude, cartoons by their very nature are funny.
Also, that's just the line of logic that was specifically for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like outside of that, there doesn't have to be a reason. Maybe they just don't like. It's funny. A lot of stuff, as you said, is inherently funny. So if somebody you're expecting, oh, I'm expecting this thing, somebody here to get hurt because this happened. Oh, wait, they don't, and instead maybe it happens to somebody else, or maybe the person that's like, oh, I shot a cannonball at somebody, and it completely like you do something where it's like it completely misses you, and maybe something funny doesn't necessarily happen to you, but instead they suffer from a huge reaction of how frustrated they are that it didn't work. That's where the humor comes from.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, like it's always gonna be funny. It doesn't have to be. If it's not funny, then it won't work. That's just what that's just what Who Framed Roger Rabbit said. Like, oh, you could get out of the cuffs at any time. Not at any time. Only when it was funny, which admittedly was fucking hilarious. Like, yeah, he technically could have gotten out of here sooner.
Well,
And he just
that was a very old rule back in the golden age of cartoon comedy was, it's they can do whatever is funny. That is the power of cartoons. I mean, you think Bugs Bunny learned how to dress up like that just on his own?
no, that's no, he probably not.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And honestly, cartoon physics or of sorry, so cartoon physics here. This version is already very limited, and there's still a lot of potential that you can do here. At the very least, you can ensure that you're never going to die from physical damage. Or if somebody attempts to erase you from existence, you could say no because that's reality affecting you.
Yeah.
So it's so long as it's reality affecting you in some way, then cartoon physics applies. It's not you trying to affect the world. You can't do it in the reverse.
Which
And
is
even then, there's so much you can do with this.
yeah, which is why it works so well with Aura of Awesome, because with Aura of Awesome, this produces fantastic synergy.
All right. So yeah, I think that's it for Sword of Super. If we're ready to move on to a larger one.
The Ghostbusters.
All right. Well.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Ghostbusters. If you see a thing
And
and it don't look good,
Hmm.
who you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters! Alright, so, Ghostbusters.
Hello.
So, yeah. Ghostbusters.
Sorry, it's just so catchy.
It is. It really
It's
is.
just so dang catchy.
Yes.
All right, so you got it pulled up.
Yep,
Barb.
it is up and ready to go.
All right, Ghostbusters, the create your own adventure. Ghostbusters International would like to welcome you to the rapidly growing industry of paranormal investigation and elimination service. By the way, if I could read this in my Ernie Hudson voice, I absolutely would. That guy is so cool.
Ernie
That guy can make. My name is Ernie Hudson, and I'm here to tell you to join the Ghostbusters.
Jesus.
Yeah, I can't do I can't do Ernie Hudson that well, but that's about as close as I can get without sounding like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can get the cadence of his voice down. It's like, my name is Ernie Hudson, and I'm here to be the financial backer and wizard behind Ghostbusters International. We're here to make sure that ghosts and ghoulies don't get you in the sleep. So get a good night's rest and know that Ghostbusters is on the case. Yeah. Probably gonna get a lot of criticism for that. Like, you don't sound like Ernie Hudson. You don't sound like Ernie Hudson.
He knows.
Don't you think if there was anything I could change about myself, I would sound like Ernie Hudson? Guy's so cool.
Anyways.
But yeah, so back to you will provide safety to the community from the dangerous and mysterious world of the supernatural at reasonable prices. So in this one, you get to assemble your team via the 4 archetypes section here. You get to choose what kind of vehicle you've got, any upgrades to your proton pack, and you can even choose special assets, crazy supernatural encounter, what sort of crazy supernatural encounter you guys tend to have, and you can even choose a supernatural ally. So you can basically kind of build your own Ghostbusters team for this one, where the story for this is that you are now you are now a functioning branch of Ghostbusters Global.
Ghostbusters.
So Ghostbusters Global, Ghostbusters International. So this could take place in any city you want. This could be in your hometown, in wherever your home country is. So it doesn't even have to be here in America. You could be your Ghostbusters in Europe, Ghostbusters in Russia. Which, by the way, if if you're in Russia listening to this, I apologize. I can only imagine the ghosts you guys have over there.
Don't worry
about you guys in the Japanese have scarier ghosts than we tend to here in America. So, God bless.
Yeah, if I totally get that, but I don't think you have to worry about warning the Russians. Most of my there's a good chunk of my videos that are actually banned in Russia due to copyright shenanigans. So.
Well, then this will probably be next. All right. So first up is the human resources. This is where you build your team.
There's so many.
You got 12. What's up?
There's so many good ones in here.
That there are. And so here you got 12 applicants you can choose from. And you get to pick 4 of them to build your team. Excuse me, I gotta A little sip of water, all this talking.
Yeah.
It's getting to me. Yeah, definitely gonna have to make these shorter videos in the future.
Yeah.
All right, so same thing as before. Columnize these. So your first applicant is the scientist. The search for knowledge has brought them here of all places. Possible career suicide. All brains but little brawn. They're one step away from becoming the basket case. We'll get to that character as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Next up, the cool one. They stay cool under pressure. They lead the group through horror after horror and still manages to smell like a rose at the end. Expect a lot of collateral damage, however.
I mean, this is one
Kind
of
of
the
like
guys
it.
from the A team, so.
I mean, Hannibal's smarter than that. Hannibal's smarter than that. I don't know how much collateral damage he personally would cause. I mean, Mr. T, as B.A. Baracus. Oh yeah, no, that guy's nothing but collateral damage.
Collateral damage.
But Hannibal's better than that. Hannibal is way better than that. Especially if he was Liam Neeson's Hannibal. Good lord, I am such a fucking sucker for that reboot.
I mean, I do love the tank falling from the sky scene.
We're in a tank, you fool. Why are we in a tank? Because the plane blew up. When did that happen? Recently. Now, so what happened? They shot us down. Who did? The same people currently trying to kill us. Good casting. Fun movie.
Honestly,
dumb as all
fun.
Dumb as all hell, but so fun. I freaking love it.
It understood the assignment.
Like you. Yeah, like, you speak Swahili? You don't? Because of course Howlin' Mad Murdoch just randomly speaks Swahili. Anyways, next applicant is the Geek. They could have worked at NASA, but GBI snatched them up first. They have the gift of invention with mechanical aptitude, and it's invaluable. They often end up as the heart of the team. Next up, the Gumshoe. Ghostbusting, say. It isn't just particle streams and victory beers, you know. This determined buster gets to the how and why of the haunting. Excellent skills of deduction, yeah? Say?
Yeah.
Okay, in the future I'm not going to do that again. That sounds so annoying.
We appreciate the effort.
I try to add a little bit of flair. Next up is the Salary Man. I feel like I know the anime this image is taken from, but it escapes me. If anybody wishes to dunk on me by proving that they know what it is, do so down in the comments. So the Salary Man is just your average Joe trying to make a buck. They're skeptical of the paranormal by nature, but if there's a steady paycheck in it, they'll believe anything you say.
Well, as long as you're getting paid, right?
Honestly, yeah. As long as there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything anybody says. I don't care.
Yep.
Next up is the con man. They're a quote-unquote reformed con man who is often Dr. Venkman's niece or nephew, given a job through nepotism, which, wow, I could absolutely see that happen, of just Venkman getting all sorts of his shady, scummy relatives work through Ghostbusters. Like, if we got to see more of that, I'd absolutely imagine that. You know what? Where did that British comedian in Ghostbusters Afterlife come from? Is he related to Dr. Venkman? James Acaster, is your character? If you're watching this, is your character related to Dr. Venkman?
That's a long shot, but who knows? The bungalow's seen some weird shit over the years.
Yeah. Well. Regardless, I just hope to get a shout out. I just hope to give that shout out to James Acaster. That guy's fucking hilarious. Never before have I been so offended by something I 100% agree with. So the con man is usually a nepo baby, niece or nephew of Dr. Venkman. They're good for human relations, like bribing officials and dodging the EPA.
Classy.
Class. Next up is the soldier. This veteran soldier is overqualified, but tragically can't find a job anywhere else. Fearless, practical, and heavily reliable. This is another bug hunt, sir.
Yep. There's another bug hunt.
No, that's Stormship Troopers.
Oh, Starship Troopers.
Uh, Starship Troopers. Yeah, I don't know why I got the Starship Troopers. Yeah.
Storm ship sounds pretty cool though, just as a thing. The storm ship coming.
Starship Troopers does sound pretty dang cool, but that's not what it's from. I made a mistake.
All good.
Next up is the comedian. They keep group morale high and bring relief to situations of mind-rending terror. They're capable of laying a savage verbal smackdown on spooks, and they're good at riddles. You never know when you might need one of these guys.
Exactly.
Next up, the veteran. Thank God they got Ernie Hudson here. He's like, weirdly enough, I love how clearly he was meant to be the salaryman since that was his character in the first one, but now he's the veteran.
Yeah.
Um, so, an experienced buster sent by GBI to oversee the new franchise and show rookies the ropes. Arthritis and heavy lifting hinder things a little. So, this is definitely somebody that's going to be a guy in the chair type of thing. Like, okay, the coach that sends the rest of the team out to do the actual job.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not like, okay, I put in my time. I've worked here for like 20, 30 years. I can't maintain it. I can't do all the same level of busting I used to when I was younger. No pun intended.
And you say this channel is not doesn't have that kind of humor.
Well, I'm not trying to interject it all the time. Giggity.
Giggity.
So this is just somebody from like the OG team. Basically, would be on your team if you chose this option. And though because of their age, there's not going to be a whole lot that they can do outside of like teaching you, lending their experience, probably supervising field missions. Like, hey, here's what you're going to want to do.
Tactical support.
Telling you, hey, I know how to do this shit. All right, I invented this shit. This is how you got to do it.
Yeah.
So always a worthwhile contribution. Next up is the occultist. They're versed in ancient lore and dark knowledge. They make the other busters nervous. They do their job, but their true motivations are suspicious.
This guy. I know it's H.P. Lovecraft, but it totally looks like which kind of makes sense for what I'm about to say. But he kind of looks like a Hellboy character in this art piece, doesn't he?
I mean, yeah, a whole lot of Hellboy stuff is obviously inspired from the works of H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, and he's been betrayed by a couple of occultists in his time, so.
All right, next up is the Mage. They're a descendant of a surviving line of sorcerers. They have an affinity for the supernatural, and they serve as a human PKE meter. Actual magical spells often just explode things. So don't expect them to be like the white mage being able to heal you in the middle of battle. They're not that kind of magic user.
No.
They're mostly just the. They're mostly that one female, probably more that one female wizard from Konosuba that just does explosions.
I mean,
except it's unintentional.
Exactly. The actual magical spells they try to cast will often just explode things, which I mean is handy, but at the same time, them also being having a natural affinity for that is handy because that just means that you have a personable PKE meter.
Exactly. All right, and the last applicant is the basket case, previously mentioned in the scientist. So just remember that the scientist character is apparently one step away from becoming this character here. Oh God, what happened? Either naturally twitchy or the result of too many close encounters. They are the first to get slimed, possessed, lost, etc. They're good for laughs or live bait. So basically, is a character that's borderline useless. But hey, if you're rather better this person than
yeah,
then that's kind of their niche where they fit in.
Like,
hey, at least it didn't happen to you; it just happened to the crazy person.
Yeah, exactly. Before we move on, I will say, I have two archetypes I kind of have in mind for what I would do for this. Like an actual Ghostbusters team, I would love to write. Restricting it to 4 is the scientist, the geek, the mage, and the comedian. But if I were to make like the most efficient out of this list, I would probably do soldier, veteran, cool one, and either the mage, the geek, or the scientist. I'm having a hard time deciding those three for the fourth man.
Yeah, me personally, I try to have the skill variety in my team be as varied as possible. So I went for the geek, the comedian, the gumshoe, and the veteran.
Okay.
Because like the geek, I need somebody that's smart enough to basically to serve as like, oh, they can invent all of our stuff, make all sorts of cool new things. Because that's invaluable to me. Like Ghostbusters, especially if you remember like the toys that they sold to promote the show and stuff, or if you watch the show, you could always even the 2016 reboot that nobody actually liked, but everybody would fight to the death over. Even I think that they had some fun looking inventions in that. Like you had what the gauntlets that you could use to punch ghosts. That looks cool.
Right?
Like even that had like a few like fun item ideas. Um, So somebody that can invent that sort of stuff, absolutely, you need that. Like you need that if you want a good Ghostbusters team. The comedian, again, the guy that keeps morale up. You need your Venkman. Sure, they're not quite the con man, but they still have that Venkman kind of role. Then you have the gumshoe, the serious person that's actually like, I know what I'm doing, or at least I have an idea of how to pursue this. And of course, the veteran that can keep us all on track and say, all right, here's how to best make use of our skills.
Yeah, the geek, the comedian, the gumshoe, and the veteran.
So yeah, the geek community gumshoe veteran. That would be my team.
Yeah, I totally hear that.
So moving on to your steed awaits. This is basically the company vehicle that you guys will use.
You gotta start with.
So so you get to choose one. Clearly, we can all see just from looking at this what the joke option is,
Yep.
but we'll get to that. First up is a retired highway patrol vehicle. It's got cop shocks, cop tires, cop brakes, and a cop engine. I mean, a cop car ain't nothing to
No.
it ain't nothing to bite your thumb at. That would absolutely be very useful, especially for like high speed chases. Next up is an armored bank truck. It can defend against a heavy assault, and if ghosts were solid, that might mean something.
I mean, well, I mean, think about any shenanigans that might occur during a major ghost attack, like speed bumps, other vehicles being caused by
Yeah,
pandemonium. What happens if your ghost possesses a car? You know?
yeah, yeah. So it's like this one definitely has the best defense options about the car in all of these vehicles, but when you're dealing with ghosts, it's not going to do much.
Yeah.
Next up is retired ambulance. Clearly, this was meant to be like, well, I think the original Ghostbusters car was definitely that was a retired ambulance, like what this one is.
Yeah,
I
that's
think the reboot changed it to where it was a like an Undertaker's car, which honestly I thought was like an interesting choice. I thought, you know what, that feels like what should have been the obvious choice for the first one. Like you guys didn't get one of those Undertaker limos.
yeah.
It's like
You didn't get a hearse as one of your cars.
a hearse. I don't know why. I don't know why it took me too long. I was forgetting the word hearse, but like, how could they have not gone with a hearse? Then you see the 2016. I think that's what they said it was in that one.
Yeah.
They said, "Yeah, I got it." The loud black actress. I forget her name. I've seen her in a lot of stuff, but she's the one who's the niece of Ernie Hudson's character.
Okay.
Yeah, she says that she apparently got it from him earlier in the movie, and this is before he actually shows up at like the end or something.
I see.
Um, yeah, I think she says she got it from him, and it's like I believe in that one. It's a hearse, not an ambulance. Which I feel like, yeah, that I would absolutely love to say that if I could choose one, I would absolutely choose a hearse. There's no way I'm not choosing a hearse as my Ghostbusters company vehicle.
You know what? Tell you what. I don't think we're ever gonna pick the joke pick, but when we get to it, why don't we substitute that with our like Ghostbusters appropriate pick? Because I've got enough. I also have something that I think you might like.
Oh, we can't really make it an actual option because
Yeah,
it's one thing to say, oh, it's one thing to say, oh, this option like wasn't clear, so I'm kind of rules lawyering in my favor.
it's another thing to pick it in
Because
your
the
own
art,
head.
it's another thing to just be like, if it doesn't say, oh, here, just pick something that you like, because some creator adventures will make that an option where it's like, hey, give you a little bit of freedom of choice here. If you
Yeah.
want, it will be like, here, pick like a real life vehicle or weapon or something, and you can have a version of that. Um, Simply just swapping something out you don't like for an option that doesn't exist, yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, getting back to it, the retired ambulance, yeah, it needs some suspension work and shocks, brakes, brake pads, lining, steering boxes. We
Ah.
all remember that scene.
Yep. Damn straight.
A Jeep, a Jeep, four-wheel drive, perfect for any rugged city environment of paved roads. Next up is the service van, ye old workhorse of the service industry. Ghosts will fear it. Parents will fear it.
Well, depends on the color at least, but yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter the cover. Is it a windowless service van? Yeah, no. People are afraid of that shit no matter what.
That's fair. And then you
And
have.
the, and then the last option, delivery scooter. Excuse me, what the fuck are you doing?
Whenever I see it like that,
Like,
I read it like, "Excuse me, what the fuck are you doing?"
yeah. Like, goodness gracious, author. Like, you really couldn't think of something to put for that outside of why are you choosing this?
You couldn't think of a hearse?
Like, why? You could.
You know,
I don't know.
me personally, I would go with the service van.
Yeah, I definitely went with the armored bank truck because one, I know I would personally rather have the extra defense than not have it because ghosts can cause collateral damage.
Exactly.
Because like what like sure they can phase through the truck and that's people stuff, but we've seen the movies most of the time they're actually not doing that. They're mostly causing trouble outside of the vehicles and almost never like going in for some reason to possess the Ghostbusters or doing anything like that. So honestly, I think I would rather have the thing that's going to keep me much better protected from any of the crazy shit that's going on outside. And besides, we can always upgrade it over time to defend against ghosts, so that way they can't phase through it. So this is just like your starting stuff.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick these with like the idea that I've got the geek. Okay, they can upgrade anything I tell them to.
Exactly. Just pick something. Just get some. Just get a solid start.
Exactly. Just pick something and think long. That's something that you can work with long term. So moving on to standard issue gear. Everybody, all of your crew gets the following. You get a proton pack with a neutrino wand. The proton pack is the general workhorse of the Ghostbusters. Every Buster is issued one of these. Do not submerge, and it is not compatible with Duotronic software. You also get a PKE meter, which will detect traces of psychokinetic energy in the air. Paragoggles. Oh, the things you'll see with these on. The nightmares you'll have. And a ghost trap. Warning, do not look directly at the trap. It can hold one ghost. Get it back to the containment unit before the battery runs out. So those are the four things that every single one of you guys, every single team member starts off with.
However,
And what you get to do, however, what you can do is you can choose upgrades or mods for your proton pack. So there's 8 options here. You can choose 3 of them. The options are lightweight frame. You mean I don't have to break my back in half anymore? So it's no longer this. Well, it is still kind of like cumbersome because it's awkwardly shaped. It's not going to be as heavy on your back.
yeah, that's the important thing.
Exactly. Boson darts, which fires screaming hot science and causes major overheating, but it's an additional way of attacking ghosts.
Yep.
So, don't knock it till you try it. Plus, that's something that's definitely that's easily remedied by two options on here. One is the coolant system. A combination of coolant fluids and a fan reduces heat accumulation. So if you're choosing something that says it'll cause that puts you at risk of overheating, definitely you want to make sure you get the coolant system or improved venting. We'll get to that in a sec. Number 4 is a containment module. Trapped ghosts can be unloaded into this module. So that's actually personally I think extremely handy. Like what if like you don't have because that's where you got to dump the ghost traps into. Like, what if you want to dump something in real quick and you don't have time to get back to HQ?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, containment module. I mean, and it synergizes perfectly with the ghost trap.
Exactly, and it says it does trap ghosts, so you can put multiple ghosts in here. I can't imagine a portable containment module on a proton pack is going to be able to have a lot of ghosts in it at once, but you could probably get like I'd imagine you'd be able to get a fair amount of ghosts in there for like your typical job.
And even then, like 2's better than 1, especially when it comes to ghosts.
Exactly.
And supposing that contains say half a dozen ghosts, that's not bad.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I picture it as being able to have at least a dozen ghosts. I don't know. That's just what comes to my head when I think something that's still portable.
You know where my brain goes. My brain goes.
What?
My brain goes to 13 ghosts.
I like the reference. All right. So next up for mods for your proton pack is focused streaming. This allows for more accuracy when you're throwing beams, which, more accuracy means that it decreases the collateral damage you're likely to create.
And helps you focus your beam on the target to keep more consistent damage.
Yeah. And here's the second heating safety thing I mentioned, improved venting. Improved venting. It gives you a rapid venting system to reduce heat accumulation.
Note that it says it does not. Note that it says it does not. It doesn't say that it doesn't stack with the coolant system, meaning it probably does.
Meaning, I'm pretty sure it absolutely does. So if you wanted to get the boson darts, which says it causes major overheating, and then you stack it with coolant system and venting, and improved venting, you would likely be able to negate the heating problem entirely with both of those working overtime.
I feel like if you do this though, like the boson darts, improved venting, and coolant system, I feel like you would have to give this to like a really, really big Russian guy who knows way too much about literature, and he always says thank you for some reason whenever he takes somebody out.
Yeah, definitely somebody that you want to have frontlining an attack on a ghost. Give them boson darts and then stack the cooling systems on these, so that way they can make use of this alternate firing mode and basically just be like a frontliner tank damage while on the team.
I have yet to meet a ghost that can outsmart beam.
All right, so next one is the slime tank. For those of you who remember Ghostbusters 2, well, here you go. Here's actually a creative way to keep that on hand. You have a tank on your proton pack containing neutralizing slime for possessed objects and humans. So you just blast something that's clearly possessed with the slime, and boom, you can take them out.
Huh.
So handy little thing. I don't know how much you would have on hand. You'd probably be able to get like a few good blasts off of that. Giggity. It's definitely something I would rather have and not potentially need it than, need it and not have it. And the last option is the self-destruct. It overrides all safety features. What are you doing? That bit of worry there that's typed out definitely doesn't fill me with the best confidence. Like, is it just set to randomly destroy, or is it like? I would think that a self-destruct thing, like if need be, I could trigger this thing to self-destruct, if maybe it's a life or death situation and we need to blow something up, so we blow up the pack.
Yeah.
But like, is there other stuff is there other concerns that aren't expressed here? Question mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, so personally, I would definitely, again, I believe in variety. So I went with containment modules, the containment module, so that way I can quickly unload traps to keep my limited supply of traps available. The slime tank, because you never know when you need to neutralize the possession, and focus streaming, because more accuracy again uh, means less collateral damage.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
would
so it gives you
probably
extra to work with.
big same, and I mean that's probably what I would go for personally. Um, like I would probably go for something along those lines. Focus streaming, with a containment module. Now here, where I get torn up, right, is do I want a lightweight frame so that I'm more nimble, or do I want a slime tank for dealing with possessed individuals?
That just depends. I'm used to. I've done a lot of camping and backpacking. Grew up. I was in the Boy Scouts. And, went full Eagle Scout. So I'm actually already used to carrying heavy equipment. I don't mind it, so that's why I don't go with a lightweight frame. I'm already pretty used to it.
I got you.
So if you're not used to carrying something this heavy, I would recommend the lightweight frame.
Yeah. That would, and honestly, that would probably be better just for general movement's sake as well. Because what if the ghost happens to be speedy?
Exactly. All right, ready for the next section?
Yes, indeed.
All right, next one is special assets. These are loaded onto your team's ectomobile for use in the field. There's 12 options. You get to choose four of these. First up is a hazardous materials suit. Protective wear for chemical and biological dangers. It's useless against the soul-sucking hazard of black ectoplasm, though. I don't know what black ectoplasm is. That's probably something from the cartoon. I would have to watch it to figure out exact. I would have to like go and really watch it to see what they're talking about there. So
Hopefully, hope
it's something that's only it's definitely something that's only mildly useful in this particular career field.
it's probably one of those things that you'd probably want to have on hand, but maybe not in the ectomobile. Uh, and like,
Well, all of these say they're specifically loaded onto the ectomobile.
right, but I wouldn't load. Like, I would leave that. I would personally leave the hazardous materials suit back at the shop if I could. I wouldn't pick this
But
one.
yeah, but like you would definitely that is something you would definitely need for chemical outbreaks and stuff like that. You would absolutely need this,
Yeah,
like especially when it comes to like dealing with collateral damage. You never know what the ghosts and stuff are gonna break. You're gonna need something to protect yourself from the stuff that's like, oh shit, well they broke something and now we've got a gas leak, or they've biohazard's been released. Like it's very useful. It's just it's specifically against ghosts. That's
yeah.
where it kind of, and this would just be this would be in storage
Okay.
on the car.
So it is okay. So in
Like
storage. Okay. So it's not something that we would have
yeah,
to use. Okay.
you know how like a lot of service cars like ambulances and stuff, they have like drawers and like there's places to store all of their equipment all throughout the vehicle. You
I
know that, right?
I've never been inside of an ambulance, so no. But
A lot of service industry vehicles have to be able to they have to carry a lot of equipment on hand, so they got a lot of storage components specifically for that issue.
huh, the more you know.
Yeah, so that's a hazardous materials suit. Next is a miniature haunted house. Because sometimes the spook just needs a place to call home. This model house provides a solution. At night, the tiny shutters clatter and chains rattle. Ooh. Caution, it throws off readings. So basically, if you want to get a ghost to just kind of move locations without necessarily trapping it, you could just put it in a tiny haunted house.
Yeah.
Um, which I'm like, that is so adorable, so useful and adorable at the same time. And really, the only drawback is you don't want to take PKE readings close to it because, well, it can pick this up instead of what you're trying to detect. So that's really the only drawback.
Still a fantastic little like. I can almost see this as like a desk ornament that Janine Melnitz has, at least before they made her.
Oh,
At least until they made her all soft after season 3.
oh my god, yeah, yeah. I could see Janine with one of these on her desk. Like I had to find a home for Slimer somewhere because he just wasn't going away. He wasn't leaving the station.
Literally.
So now she just has that on. She just has that on her desk, and she occasionally tosses leftovers from her lunch at it. And he'll just pop out and he'll nab at like the fries or bits of sandwich stuff that she gives him.
Next.
And she's like, you know what? He's like a desktop garbage disposal.
You know what? I haven't had to empty my garbage out in 6 months because I don't need to deal with I don't need to deal with my with any food I don't eat. I just give it to him.
Yeah, whenever we're having a company potluck, I just throw all the terrible food over to Slimer. He'll eat anything. Oh yeah. Anyways, next up is a repelling kit for when you have to descend down a gaping hole to hell. What's not pictured? A collapsible shovel to bury yourself with.
See ya.
So yeah, I mean, you know what? I take comfort in the fact that I also have a shovel with my repelling gear. Apparently, that's included.
Yep.
You know what? Sometimes you're gonna find yourself trying to go into some hard to reach, deep, dark holes in order to find some creepy, ghastly ghouls. It happens. All right. Next up is a church bell. It's really old, really heavy, and it's just as cumbersome to lug around. Sometimes ringing it spooks the spooks, and it has seen success against a few stupid vampires. So this is one of those things where it may or may not be useful at all. It's seen only very minimum success. Probably a lot more cons against this thing than pros, especially since the main source of success this thing has shown is against vampires and specifically stupid ones at that.
So you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a no to that, and it's actually the kind of same thing with the next one here.
The magical assets.
Quote unquote magical assets. It's an old doctor's bag filled with charms, medallions, and other relics. They hardly ever work, so there are a bunch of them. It has everything from horseshoes to iron ingots. It's like, you're pretty much just going to be Benny from the Mummy reboot movie, from the Brendan Fraser Mummy reboot movies, as he's just going along every single necklace that he does when faced by Emotep and saying a prayer in every language, trying to find one that works.
Well, credit where credit is due.
I mean, that man was prepared. He just has all of these religious iconography on these religious necklaces and knows how to say all these different prayers in different languages just in case he's faced with a situation where he needs to pray to a god or ward something off. And he did find one that worked, but it wasn't what he expected. The language of the slaves. Like, oh no, I spoke Jewish. Oops. Yeah, instead of holding up like the Eye of Ra or something and convincing him that he's like a fellow priest, he spoke the language of the people of that his kind enslaved, and now he's like, great, I'm a servant instead.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made, Benny. Next up is very simple. Probably wouldn't go with this one.
The bite suit.
The bite suit. It comes with a helmet and face guard. Hope you never have to use it. It's really, again, very niche in its usefulness. Like, if you're going up against something that's probably going to cause you some physical damage, congratulations. You have a higher chance of of not taking damage from it, but you're not going to be able to do much in it too. I've seen these things. I've watched K9 units in the military training with these, and it's difficult to do a damn thing. You're just supposed to stand there and take damage. That's what these things are for.
Yeah, not useful.
Not like useful, but not useful as often as you would want it to be.
Yeah.
All right, next up is an ancient tome. This thing looks badass. It's like Tobin's spirit guide on crack. It's good for looking up vulnerabilities on ancient foes. The damn thing is cursed, though. Expect rains of frogs when using it.
Don't open your mouth.
You know what? Just keep your head down, pop open an umbrella, and just. I hope you're a speed reader.
Well,
Just get good at reading fast.
Not just a speed reader, but if you have to read it out loud, project your voice, because you're gonna have to go over the sounds of like. Hold on, where's my mic? There's my mic.
A whole bunch of frogs.
Yeah, the fucking frogs slapping against your umbrella as they hit it.
Yeah. So definitely very useful, but it's going to be annoying again because it's cursed.
Well, useful but annoying is certainly better than not useful at all.
Exactly. Next up is a medical kit. Sometimes the ghosts play rough. This kit has everything necessary to stabilize a downed buster until medical attention can be provided. Makes sense that you would have something like this.
Yeah, exactly. That feels almost necessary.
It feels like an absolute necessary. Honestly, similar to this next option called the charging station. Fixed to the back of the ectomobile, it will keep ghost traps nice and hot. So basically, because how they mentioned earlier that the ghost traps do run on batteries, and those batteries, they can last a while, but if maybe you're gone from the station for too long, whatever the job finds you at,
there's just too damn many ghosts.
You're going to want to make sure you keep those nice and charged, so that way they don't die out and release whatever ghosts you have. So that one also feels like a necessity to me.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Sword of Giant Slaying. If we want to go back to the anime decisions, this one definitely fits. It's a massive sword with an 8-foot blade. Its origin is unknown, and GBI ain't talking. It is stupidly hard to wield. Magical beasts will recognize and fear it, and it still reeks of blood.
Get strong, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you got to start your Guts from Berserk training regimen if you really want to be able to wield this thing, because that's what it's going to take to use this. But God, is it worth it? This thing literally terrifies magical, supernatural creatures.
Indeed.
And apparently is so goddamn mysterious and dangerous that even that GBI will not talk about how they got it.
Makes you think, don't it?
Yes. Next up is the Field Research Kit. You guys are scientists, right? This kit has essential tools and supplies for gathering specimens and doing actual investigative work.
If you want to take your job seriously, pick that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't really pick any of the... I picked a smart person. I don't know if they're necessarily a scientist. I don't think I picked anybody that could reasonably use this.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the problem. And this next one has no real description, but I did look it up to figure out what the hell this is. The mega ghost trap. Pictured here is literally just it looks like a reformatted shop vac. There's just had some decoration stuff put on it. The Super Slammer, the Showstopper, the Jaw Dropper, the Hail Mary. Basically, from what I looked up when I was trying to figure out more about this before, this is a very specialized ghost trap that's designed to contain very, very powerful entities that can't normally be caught in a single ghost trap. So if you're talking like gods, deities, that sort of thing, like the Spirit of Halloween, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, major bad guys, that have been seen in like uh the recent Ghostbusters movies, Afterlife, and oh god,
Frozen
Afterlife
Empire.
and the one, yeah, Afterlife and Frozen Empire. For some reason, I think I've been saying Afterlife this whole time, but like, wait a minute, no, Frozen Empire was the most recent one. Afterlife came before that. We saw how like they in Afterlife they had to use like there was like 100 regular traps in order to capture Zool. Though in that case, I think they were trying to keep us that way. Zool was not only it was not only enough to trap Zool, but also splitting Zool's essence apart, so that way it was harder for them to kind of come back together.
Yeah.
And in Frozen Empire, they had to use the now completely emptied the completely emptied module back at the actual headquarters to stuff the deity back into that thing. Like, okay, this thing was it took something that's normally meant to contain hundreds and hundreds of thousands of ghosts all at once. They had to put just this thing in there. That was the only thing big enough. So the Mega Ghost Trap is basically that.
Well, based off of sorry.
I was about to say, apparently this particular item mostly saw use in the Extreme Ghostbusters. It wasn't in like the original run of the first Ghostbusters cartoon.
But the Extreme
But this one came along later.
But the Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon I remember was pretty good too.
Yeah, I think it's canon to Ghostbusters, which was then followed up by Slimer in the real Ghostbusters. And then after that, in the 90s and 2000s, we had Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So this was a few iterations down the line was when it actually popped up.
Right.
That's literally the only time I saw this. And that's what it's been described as. It's basically a super powerful trap for entities that cannot be put into a normal ghost trap.
Hence, well, that makes my decision easy for what I'm loading into the Ectomobile.
Yeah, so I went with medical kit because you gotta be able to patch yourself up after a job. Charging station because I do not want to run the risk that ghost traps could potentially lose battery and release a ghost while we're driving. The Mega Ghost Trap because well, when we go through the special encounters, you'll see why it's an absolute necessity.
Yep.
And lastly is the Ancient Tome. I know it's cursed, but you know what? So long as we don't have to like consult it all the time, and again, we read through it pretty fast, we should be able to just kind of keep active Rains of Frogs to like a brief shower.
Yeah, I get you.
So again, just get good at if this thing has too much information in it to just ignore it. We just got to get good at perusing it fast.
Yeah. This is my number 5 item. It says choose 4, but this is my number 5, if that makes any sense. It just didn't make the list. I'm taking the field research kit because I actually have the scientist, and this would be super useful for GBI.
Oh yeah, if you could choose an extra one, I'd say that's a good one.
Yeah.
But remember, you just got 4.
Yeah, so my 4 would be field research kit, medical kit, charging station, and Mega Ghost Trap in mine.
Yeah. All right. Next up, special encounters.
And
there are typical hauntings, and then there are these things. Basically, from what I can surmise, these are going to be very special encounters that your team is going to engage with specifically from time to time. Like you'll have all your normal ghosts and all that stuff that you deal with on a regular basis, but these guys are going to pop up from time to time.
I hear you.
So you got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you actually have 16 options here, and you choose 3 from here. And there's some terrifying options here.
Spooky stuff.
So first up is the Gibbering Horror, crawling its way out of the guts of the earth to kill everyone. It's nearly unstoppable. Did you complete an advanced healthcare directive?
I mean, looking at that thing, I would hope so.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck with that. Next is the Spirit of Halloween. Oh, didn't we bust you already? Oh, that's right. The spirit of Halloween is eternal. So yeah, great. An enemy that you fight every single year, uh, and can never truly keep trapped.
well, if nothing, if nothing else, like I would take a Spirit of Halloween. You could almost take Spirit of Halloween just because it's like October's coming up, so you get like a month of prep time to get ready for this. The Spirit of Halloween rolls up, and it's, let's say it's like year 5 at the very least of this, and then you're just like, hey, you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Especially if you manage to live for a good long while, it almost becomes like
Yeah.
ritualistic. But that's if you want to your ritual for Halloween to be getting attacked by the literal spirit of horror. I don't think I do.
Yeah. Hell, no. Maybe you might be friended after enough years.
Who
Who
knows?
knows? Um. All right. So next up, Theater of the Absurd, an ancient shapeshifting ghost that has gone insane. It has the potential to drive onlookers mad. Also, reminder that all GBI employees receive a discount on psychiatric evaluations.
Cheeky.
Oh, yeah, I'm not messing with that. Next up is the Crawling Horror, a good old fashioned nightmare fuel. Oh, look, it laid eggs.
Or how I would
That is that's a hard no for me.
I deliver that line like, "Oh look, it laid eggs. Gross." Because
Oh, look, it laid eggs.
gross.
Because of course it laid eggs.
Yep. The
All right.
the strange.
Next up is the Stranger. The Boogeyman, the urban legend whispered on the schoolyard, the dreaded explanation for all those missing people.
Dun.
Ominous, great.
Lovely.
Next up is the kids. People are probably going to get pissed off no matter how I try pronouncing it, but the most I've heard is Kitsune,
Yep.
a tourist from the Far East looking for something to ease her boredom. Extremely cunning and totally unpredictable. They can turn into the malicious prankster, which is another option here on Special Encounters, at any time. Basically, they're the equivalent of actual Fae from D&D.
Yep.
And I don't fucks with that. I don't fucks with them.
Well, and also Kitsune in Japanese myth are capable of pretending to be people and thus causing all kinds of mischief. But of a widely regarded way in Japan to catch a Kitsune is to get it to say moshi moshi, because Kitsune cannot say that, which is why when you pick up the phone in Japanese, it's moshi moshi.
Good to know.
So
Also good to know. A giant skeleton. And then 100-foot skeleton just jumped out.
this reminds me of a Japanese yokai.
You know what? No other description for this. Just a giant 100-foot skeleton jumped out. Congratulations, you've explained nothing.
Oh god.
Next up, this seems pretty standard fare for a Ghostbusters team to have to deal with every so often. An undead army. A standard issue undead army, common asset utilized by Class 7 ghosts to take over the city, or at least downtown. You know, damn near every movie you got, almost every single one of the movies has something like this.
Exactly. They're your minions.
So that one is like, well, not our minions, they're the bad guys' minions. These are bad guys.
Yeah, they're the bad guys' minions, but that means they're your minions that you beat up.
Yeah. All right, next up is the aforementioned malicious prankster. This poltergeist is beyond smashing just plates and cups. We're talking criminal mischief, arson, assault, and murder?
Dun dun dun.
Question mark. Okay, so anything kind of goes with that guy. Good to know. Next is the harbinger of plague.
That would be
Wherever this guy
Jackson. The word it's harbinger.
I've literally heard it both ways.
Really?
Harbinger. I'm not saying harbinger. I'm saying harbinger.
Yeah, harbinger.
Harbinger. Well, you know, I've harbinger, harbinger.
Tomato.
I'm not saying harbinger. I'm not saying harbinger, but you know, I'll say I'll emphasize it for the harbinger of plague.
Huh, I did not know
wherever this guy shows up, contagion follows. You better seal yourself into a hazmat suit, Barb. Thinking that shit ain't useful, Barb.
This is the part of the show where
You better.
this is the part of the show where I get told so. You told me so.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd better seal yourself into a hazmat suit and take some vitamin C before duking it out with old Beakface.
Also, I've never heard it as Harbinger, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
You know what? I'm pretty sure you're more right, anyways. Harbinger does sound better.
The Harbinger.
Next up,
Plague.
the Harbinger. Next up is this ridiculous fucking monstrosity, a man-eating house. It's a unique shapeshifter that takes on the form of human habitations. Could be a house, or even append itself as an annex or an extra floor on an already existing building.
Huh. So this is what happens when mimics
So
get too big for their britches.
yeah, they start becoming the whole build. When the mimic gets tired of being in the dungeon, so they just become the dungeon. Yeah, you hate to see it, folks. Next up is mnemonic ectoplasm. This blob of ectoplasm takes on the shape of memories from those around it. It's extremely unstable and potentially dangerous, not to mention embarrassing.
Right,
Yeah,
because
think the boggart from Harry Potter 3.
yeah, it's very fucking cool.
Yeah,
Though.
I don't want to have to I don't have to fight this thing and it turns into my ex and just starts berating me for no reason.
Oh dear lord, yeah.
Yeah. Next up is the latest creepy looking ghoul on this list, the Hungry. It eats cars, houses, ghost traps, even proton beams. You'd better think of something fast.
Oh god.
So no. That is a big fat that is a type 1 diabetes of no for me.
All 4 plasma beams on it, make it explode.
Nope. Nope. It ate the plasma beams. Like, I still have my proton pack, but it ate the beams. Yeah, okay, you're gonna need to call somebody else.
Dave.
Alright. Next up is the Hell Bus, the remnants of Number 8 Red Line, crashed in 1993. It returned for some terrible, nameless reason. What isn't pictured is the cackling skeletal driver.
At least he knows how to have a good time with laughter.
Yeah, well, he's described as cackling. I'd hope so.
Yep.
All right, next up. Actually, could you help me out with this one? I believe this was the Demon Duck of Doom, but the actual name that's listed here is a little hard for me to say.
No, this is not the Demon Duck of Doom. It is a completely separate lineage of bird from South America that is carnivorous. You would pronounce this as Forus racos, but you could also just but since it gives me the specific name, just call it a terror bird because
the terror bird, yeah.
Yeah, because Forus racos is a kind of terror bird. And the Demon Duck of Doom is from a different group of birds.
So a similar thing, but not the same thing. Like there's overlap. Like yeah, it's kind of, but it isn't. They're two separate entities.
Yeah, because the terror birds were carnivores, and the Gastornithiforms or the demon ducks or whatever you want to call them were generally plant eaters.
Yeah, this one.
No,
I've heard of terror birds. I just got it mixed up. So yeah, this is a terror bird.
Yeah.
What is that? That thing is not supposed to be alive. What the?
Literally. I mean, contending.
Yeah, sorry. Anything that has a description of what is that? It's not supposed to be alive. I'm not messing with that. I don't care how much you're paying me. Is that even a ghost?
That's my question. Is it a ghost, or is the Genome Coalition on one again?
Yeah. I don't know. I just know I'm avoiding it. Kind of like our last option here, the Hell Burger. Have you ever seen a sandwich that could take a bite out of you? Ouch! This sandwich just took a bite out of me.
Nope. Fuck that noise.
I would legitimately almost consider choosing this option purely out of the curiosity to see if I could eat this thing before it could eat me. Like, what does it taste like? Is it burger? Is it just like an animated burger all the way through, or does it like look like a burger, but there's like guts and stuff in here that you can't see?
You know,
Like, what? Like, what if?
I love that that is your first impulse when you see the hell burger. You're like,
It's
can I eat this?
it's a burger.
I
It's a burger. All I see that's extra on this thing
are,
is the rows of teeth,
and
but it looks normal outside of that.
and maybe those teeth are made out of like super hard crust, which is why they can punch through your skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I'm curious. Could I eat this thing before it eats me? But ultimately, that just kind of creates a sort of conundrum where it's like, I already have to remind myself that when I'm eating food, like eating something with meat in it, it's like this thing was alive, like God knows how long ago, and now here I am consuming its rich, tasty body. Sometimes it kind of gets to you when you just have that moment to realize, like, huh, this was a living thing once. I wonder what other weird living things. I wonder what other living, non-traditional living things might taste like.
Oh yeah, like
Anyways, off that line, like, and then you kind of get off that topic when you start thinking,
yeah.
I wonder what giraffe tastes like, or I wonder what,
I had ostrich.
like, just really, and really just any sort of things that you probably don't typically do. Like, I wonder what roadkill tastes like. You think about random stuff, like if it's all meat, and right as you start thinking, I wonder if some of those famous serial killers were onto something. You once you realize, okay, I've crossed too far. I'm in the Dahmer stage of thinking now. I should probably dial it back. This goes even further beyond that because now the thing I'm eating is still a living thing that looks like food. It's actively trying to eat me.
Well,
But it just brings up
many questions.
so many questions. I may honestly lose interest from the questions alone rather than this thing trying to eat me.
Yeah, I get you. Me personally though, my top three. Actually, what's your top three? Since you were keen on the Hellburger, but you weren't sure if you wanted to pick your top three.
Oh no, my top three would absolutely be the Stranger because I need a challenge, and fighting the Boogeyman would absolutely be an interesting one. Plus, there's a story there when they say it's the dreaded explanation for all those missing people. Like, ooh, what's the story here?
Yeah.
The next is Undead Army because I think it's pretty standard protocol. Every so often, as a Ghostbusters team, you're gonna have to take on a ghostly army. So may as well, choose it. And the next is the Hell Bus. Again, because this, like similar to the Stranger, there's clearly a story here, a crash bus line. What happened? It's returned for some terrible nameless reason. Like, okay, I want to know what the story here is. It doesn't sound anything, you know, that sound anything too far fetched. It sounds like there's something I could follow here. So that would be my three.
I get you. My three would be I'd probably take on the Spirit of Halloween, just because I imagine that once having at least a consistent guy you can plan for regularly, that's pretty reliable.
Yeah,
Um,
I hear you.
the Forest Rockos, because you know me way too well.
I knew you wouldn't be able to turn down a literal dinosaur.
Yeah. And to anyone in the comments saying, it's a bird! Birds are dinosaurs, dumbass. So,
Birds are just still living dinosaurs, okay?
yeah. This one was between the dinosaurs you know and the dinosaurs we're stuck with. So calling it a dinosaur is just fine. Frightening, even.
Yeah. Yeah, what's your third?
My third is the Kitsune, because it gets me a fourth in the malicious prankster, because it transforms back and forth.
It says that they could become. It's not saying that they physically turn into this separate entity. They're more saying like they could act like the malicious prankster whenever they want. they're described as extremely cunning, totally unpredictable. They could go from being like the malicious prankster at all times is going to be a dick that could go from I'll pull a prank on you that's relatively harmless to I'm going to kill you, versus the kitsune who's mostly just bored and could potentially be dealt with diplomatically, non-lethally. Doesn't have to be a whole drawn-out thing, or they could be like the malicious prankster and go out for blood out of boredom. But yeah, the kitsune I think is a good choice.
Damn straight. Just because I know it's like it can turn into the malicious prankster at any time, but that's just it. You have to deal with this, and then you deal with that on top of the other two.
Exactly. All right, so this brings us to our last section, the allies. They're friendly but not harmless. You get to choose one. Basically, they're basically the Slimer to your group, except they're actively useful.
Yeah.
So there's 4 options here, so thankfully there's not a whole lot to have to choose from. The first is the Knight. Dispatched back during the 14th century, they were the original Ghostbuster in his day. Loyal and good, but he racks up collateral damage like you would not believe. He also goes completely nuts if a damsel in distress is involved.
Not surprising.
I don't know if this person is undead, like a zombie or something, or if they're literally just an immortal knight.
Dispatched.
I think they might. Yeah.
Dispatched.
I think they may have like come back.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking that they may have a physical body, but they're not alive. Maybe.
Right. They're not a ghost.
They're like more like a revenant or something like that. Like a cognizant zombie. Or maybe they're immortal. I don't really know. I guess whatever floats your boat more.
Exactly. Are they cursed to be immortal? Who knows?
Let's see. Next up is the Informant, formerly known as Paulie Fast Hands Giuliano. His apparition still sports a pair of crimson shoes.
Cement.
He will provide intel. I don't know why I misread that. I have been doing that. I think I may need to take a break after this one. I don't know if I can make 4 today, man. I don't know if I got it in me today, man.
That's fine. That's fine. We can do the Fallout one another time. It's all good.
Yeah. See. So yeah, he still sports a pair of cement shoes. He will provide intel on major events happening in the Underdark circuit in exchange for protection. Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Next up is the Floozy. Confiscated from a busted cult summons, they are now a ward of GBI. Why no one places her in the containment unit is a mystery. She helps out only when she's bored. Your employees will be fatigued for some reason, so she's clearly a succubus with the behavioral patterns of a cat.
This entry didn't have to at me so fucking hard.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're choosing that one, aren't you, Bar? I know you. You're so tempted to choose the Floozy.
Well, I mean, again, it's adding me too hard, man. It's like, come
on. Hey, sluts got to stick together. I get it.
Sluts got to stick together. That's very true.
And then the last one is this demonic-looking thing.
The Hound.
The Hound. A friendly ghost hound that absolutely loves you. Meanwhile, I'm looking at its cold, perfectly circular, dead, empty eyes and just thinking, burn it with fucking fire. I love dogs. I love cats. I love dogs. Those are my 2 favorite pets. And even I don't know if I could love this dog.
That's what. Well,
just by looking at it.
I'm sure you'll warm up to him. You just have to get past your fear. Plus, it may not even look like that. It may just be a ghost dog.
Potentially. Hopefully, it doesn't look like that. Maybe if I'm gonna get a ghost dog, I want little Cujo from Danny Phantom. That was an adorable little dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Hound is a friendly ghost hound that absolutely loves you. He has a real nose for ectoplasmic entities and can sniff out even the stealthiest of spooks. He occasionally ignores your orders and breaks the fence, and he collects car fenders. Don't know where he gets them.
Well, like...
also, probably don't want to be caught. I probably don't want to be caught with these. I would absolutely get in trouble with the police.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big con. But like, Okay, slut's got a slut, so the floozy is my actual pick. But if I had to pick a useful pick, one that isn't just same, I would probably actually
Yeah.
I'd probably actually pick the Hound because like I know these guys are allies, but at the same time, I mean, finding the sneakiest of spooks is kind of a good idea when you're dealing with something like I don't know, a man-eating house.
Yeah. Personally, I would go with the informant because they can tell me about anything that's happening, and all I got to do is look out for them. Like, cool, just we got a bunk for you. If it's like, hey, things are a little hot on the streets right now, I need to lay low. Well, congratulations, Paulie, we got a room for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay, we got you. Because ain't no ghost gonna come all the way up in here in Ghostbusters International and try busting heads here on our turf.
And besides,
Um,
and besides, you're an apparition, right? The living don't have anything to worry
yeah,
about you, and we specialize in dealing with the dead.
exactly. So yeah, oh, it has been a while, and also, if you can edit this one part out, just saying really quick, my brother's supposed to be here in like 20 minutes. 20 minutes if he isn't already.
Oh shit.
I definitely want to make sure. Yeah, I want to make sure I get off here in time because
Oh yeah.
he's just supposed to pick some stuff up. He's just supposed to pick some stuff up, but he might stick around for conversation because we don't see each other every day, and we catch up. And
Yeah. And
uh,
I hear
I
that
don't know how long the conversation will be, and I could definitely
use a break.
definitely use a break. This has been my whole afternoon so far.
Yeah. So, tell you what. If you want to just leave it at, if you want to just wrap it up here, I can do that. I'll just do a quick explanation that we couldn't quite get to the Fallout one today, but I will quickly just post a picture of the Cyberpunk one to kind of just show what that is, and then the next time you come by, we'll tackle that one as a one subject episode.
Oh yeah, I think we'll do Fallout as a one subject. Actually, I think tease Fallout since that one's supposed to be next. Because I mean, I'm fine if you want to like pick up recording and to still make it part of the same episode, like later on another day, or if you want to cut the video here, which I understand because we've got hours and hours to work with.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
and for
if you
these
want to be like,
and for these kinds of videos, there won't be a lot of cutting I will have to make anyways. But I would still have to make cuts and trims and whatnot, like this conversation here.
yeah,
So I don't mind
yeah,
just calling it as like just use this as the pilot episode and then go from there.
yeah. So if you want to like cut it here after the Ghostbusters one, we can come back and then Fallout is its own video, and then yeah, all right. Next time we've got the Cyberpunk one. If you guys are interested in these, so we got this one and this one and Fallout. All right, if you guys are interested in these, we can keep making more. This would be the next one, the Cyberpunk one.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So you ready to bring it back in and close this thing out?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right. So, we're actually gonna call it here because I just looked at the time and realized we've been recording for what was that? The better part of 3 hours. Yeah, about 3 hours now.
Actually, it's been closer to like 4, I think now.
Right, because you had to hop off for a bit to deal with some stuff. So yeah, it would have been about 4 hours. So. I figured.
Yeah, we realized this video is going to be pretty long, so we thought we'll cut it one option short since the other one's going to be slightly longer than this one. We want to be a little merciful.
Yeah, exactly. And if nothing else, that just means more stuff for you to check out later. And I mean, war never changes, but your life could with this next create your own adventure, which we'll be covering next time.
Yeah, so next episode will be all about the Fallout Create Your Own Adventure, and well, we hope you guys are going to enjoy that as much as we enjoy every aspect of the Fallout franchise.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I'm
you
relatively
ready?
I'm relatively new to the Fallout scene because like my first real like hardcore exposure to it was like Fallout 4, and then It was the Fallout TTRPG. I played like New Vegas once at a birthday party before then, but like I wasn't like super entrenched in Fallout until Jackson and I played the TTRPG with a bunch of our friends, and well, Jackson's a big Fallout guy, so I imagine this is gonna be a fun episode.
Oh, absolutely, it is. Absolutely love the favorite. I absolutely love the story of Fallout New Vegas. That was the first Fallout game I ever played, and I agree that it's definitely got the best. It's got a lot of the best story, and it definitely has a lot of the funnest in terms of weapons. But you can't beat that game, that Fallout 4 gameplay. It is so clean, so crisp, and I love a lot of. It's the same thing you see in a lot of other Bethesda studios, where it's like, hey, make stuff. You can craft your own weapons and armor. You can build settlements. Like, holy shit, this is fun. I love a lot of this stuff that has a lot of meticulous detail and planning to it, because I love getting nitty gritty creative. And you can't quite get that. You can only pick up a mod in the other games and then slap that mod onto a weapon that can use it. That's about as far as it gets, which is still fun. And there's a ton more variety in those games and a lot of truly unique weapons. I fucking love getting the DLC where you can get the Gehenna shish kebab.
Mm-hmm.
Fun as hell, and never ever go anywhere without a power fist on your person, just in case you just feel like punching something really fucking hard. And of course, power armor all the way.
Power armor. Considering what kind of beast you made in the TTRPG, I'm not surprised.
Oh my god, we're probably gonna talk a lot about. It's probably gonna come up a lot, like our antics from the Fallout campaign that we did with our friends over a year ago.
Which is exactly why this is gonna be our first single focus create your own adventure thing, because I know for a fact that between Jackson's fascination with the world and how much he's played the games and my personal experiences with the franchise and the TTRPG in particular.
Yeah, that one. Fallout really just I love Ghostbusters, but I'm a much bigger fan of Fallout, and that one we can talk on and on about it. And that one, I want to give it, instead of trying to cram it in at the end.
Let's let this.
Definitely want to give it the time. Want to give it like a full video, which I feel it deserves that. I mean, from now on, I would like to do one per video, since we can clearly, go on and on and on, even about the smallest ones. We can just kind of talk our ears off.
Exactly. This was just the pilot, so I'm gonna let you go. Now it was really nice having you around, Jackson. Finally gonna be able to get this up. This is for the audience, and this is for you, Jackson. I will have this uploaded on the 22nd. I promise.
So in a couple of days, you can have this up in a couple of days.
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't need to edit all that much. I just have to like trim out some side things, make it cohesive, put it all together, maybe trim out some of the sidings so that it's like focused on the actual create your own adventure itself. But once I take care of that, like I'm gonna upload the full 4+ hour adventure to YouTube, which is going to be great because it means fantastic retention if anybody decides to fall asleep to it.
Exactly. Well, great. I can't wait to check it out when it's done.
Yeah, and that's for the audience and for myself and also for you and especially for me, so that I can actually remember to keep the fucking date.
I hear you.
All right.
All right. Well, no time like the present. Chop chop. Get on it.
That's exactly the plan. Don't forget to be awesome, my friends. Thanks for coming by the bungalow, Jackson, and I'd be more than happy to bring anybody else from the friend group on. I mean, I already brought one. I already brought. They know him as Pharaoh, but what was it? No. Yeah, they know. Old Grace.
Are you talking about Colton?
I'm talking about Ingot in our current campaign.
Like Pharaoh? What the fuck? Wait, you mean Colton?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, edit the real name out. No names here.
Boop! Exactly. So just so yeah, so between what I was trying to get at was that like I've had him on the show before. Molly has made some considerations for the show before, and I have made multiple videos dedicated to you guys. So y'all are always welcome to swing by the bungalow at any time. And not to get too sappy like a certain Muppet in a big blue house, but anybody who decides to stick around and watch this video is always appreciated. So don't be afraid to do the LCSR, comment, comment, rate, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. No, it's LCSR. Like, comment, subscribe, or repost. That's what it was. I remember now. Anyhow, I don't know why I'm trying to do this. We've gone on for way too long anyways. Bye!
Yeah. Bye.